Oh, so proudly we hailed at the twilight's gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular of Oxford singing out, yeah, through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, presented by the West Law Firm and Resto Pros of the Midlands, part of the Chief Sports Network, and proud partners of On 3, Go Gamecocks.
He'll be fine on the mountain.
Consecutive home runs for Carolina.
It is good. It's gone.
He's in. Touchdown. Williams with a throw to the play.
He's going to score. It's a walk-off.
Touchdown, South Carolina.
All right, greetings and good morning. Welcome aboard and welcome home. Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show presented by Resto Pros. There when you need them, Resto Pros of the Midlands, Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. And the West Law Firm. Visit westlawfirmsc.com. If you or somebody you know needs help in this state, that's where you'll go. westlawfirmsc.com. Over eight decades helping our friends here in the great state of South Carolina. They're the golden tones of Mike Morgan. I'm JB, JC, and Phil coming up at 11 o'clock this morning, and in about 18 minutes, it'll be our friend Preston Thorne for his weekly appearance. And it is a Tuesday as we get closer and closer to the kickoff of college football and certainly closer to the kickoff of South Carolina football. Mike's got a drive around the SEC, a JT's Kia drive around the SEC coming up here at the top of the 11 o'clock hour as well. And as we do every morning, we will start you off with a Gamecock report presented by our friends at Gamecock Traditions.
What's going on in Gamecock country? It's the Gamecock Report presented by Gamecock Traditions on the morning show. Visit GamecockTraditions.com or in Lexington and get your gear and apparel today.
Mike, has it been raining in your neck of the woods for like 3 or 4 straight days?
Yep. It's that time of year.
It
Southeastern, yeah, gotta water the lawn a little bit, Jamie. Got to get those things hydrated so they can grow.
Well, we didn't have any rain for 2 months in the spring, and I just sat there and watched my grass just whittle away and whittle away and whittle away. But we've got plenty of it now. Of course, meteorologist Rob Fowler still tells me that we're like 26 inches below from being out of the drought or something like that. So, anyways, yeah.
It rained on Atlanta Braves fans' parade yesterday, but we'll get to that after the game.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I'm wearing my Braves hat today. All is not lost, and
that's what that. Okay, I just caught what that was. I thought maybe you were breaking out a new line of clothing or something.
So you got the navy and the red. Hey, where's our background music? Don't we usually have background music for this segment?
It was on.
Yeah.
I think the band went on strike.
Oh, okay.
Hold out. Lockout.
Well, speaking of baseball, I put this in an intel briefing last night up on the Big Spur. If you want to get out there and see Kevin Schnall and the Gamecocks, you can do it Friday, October the 9th versus High Point at Founders Park. And then again, the following weekend, Friday, October the 16th versus the College of Charleston at Segra Park, the home of the Fireflies. The last 2 years, the Gamecocks have come down to the Low Country to play the Cougars at Riley Park, but they'll do it in Columbia this year. The following Friday, October the 23rd, they'll play Winthrop at Founders Park. And then the day before Halloween, the Gamecocks and the Duke Blue Devils will battle in Kannapolis, North Carolina, just north of Charlotte, at Atrium Health Stadium, the home of the Chicago White Sox single-A team. So that's the list. There you go. Get out there and watch the Gamecocks play. There will be, in a couple of weeks, some details that they'll release the link to purchase tickets for the College of Charleston game. Pretty sure you'll have to buy tickets for the Duke game as well. I don't know about Winthrop and High Point yet. They haven't figured out those details yet. But the Coastal Carolina matchup, by the way, that will be a midweek game in the spring in Conway later in the year. It will not be an early season matchup. It'll be later in the season for the Gamecocks and the Chanticleers. Jadeveon Clowney signed with the Texans. You see that, Mike?
I did. It's funny. I the last Clowney sighting for me, I called a Ravens game, and he had 2 sacks against. Really? Yeah, he had 2 sacks against Deshaun Watson and the Browns. And at that time, the feeling was Jadeveon's kind of on his last leg. But here he is, a couple of years later. He's still racking up contracts. What is it, 13 years now, I believe?
13 years, yeah.
Yeah.
The most is 15 for a Gamecock, for a former Gamecock. The longest amount of time in the NFL, 15 years.
Who is that?
Vaughn and
who'd you say?
Stephon Gilmore and I think Jonathan Joseph, I believe, are the 2.
Joseph last man. You run a sub 4.4 and you can hang around like Jonathan did. And Gilmore, I think Gilmore's got a legitimate shot at the Hall of Fame. Jadeveon Clowney, the expectations for Clowney were just, he was never going to live up to what people made him out to be.
Yeah.
It was just he's had a fine NFL career.
Yep.
But when you're the number 1 pick in the draft, and everybody remembers the Outback Bowl highlight where he knocks the kid's helmet off, people were just portraying him as this unstoppable force that the likes of which the NFL hasn't seen since, name your guy, Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White. He wasn't that. In all honesty, he wasn't that. But he was a good player and had a good career, made a lot of money. But, I take a look at a guy who just signed a massive deal for a ton of money. The dude from A&M. Again, my mind I got to have my spark here.
Which an edge rusher?
Basically, the best defensive lineman in
with
the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. But
now you've thrown me off.
Well, I've thrown everybody. Somebody. Thank you, Miles Garrett. Thank you, TD Knoll 28. I knew it would be a matter of time.
Oh, okay. Somebody
put
it
it
in there.
Blanked on Miles Garrett.
Yes,
yeah. Miles Garrett truly. I mean, he's going to be like first ballot Hall of Fame good. But it was the expectations and the hype on Jadeveon, who is a great college player, which is really what most people here care about the most, right? But he'll this might be his last year. I don't know, 13 years. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of years for a D lineman. Most of them never approach that, even the really good ones.
He's had a good career. I think he's got 66 and a half career sacks or something like that. I mean, and he's had injuries, and at the end of the day, he's doing all right. He's done fine for himself. Well done, JD. Get to maybe finish that career where he started in Houston. His home's in Houston now.
Think he'll go back to Rock Thrill?
No, I'm sure he's got a place there. I don't know.
I started hearing about him. My one of my bosses with the Panthers started telling me, because he also was one of the announcers for Rock Hill High School football. They blow it out over there. They do. It's not just like one game of the week. They have 4 of them going on simultaneously on 4 different channels. The guys there, they really do a terrific job of covering high school football. The Miller family, I believe it is.
Chris Miller.
Chris Miller, but his dad owns all the stations, I believe, unless that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I started hearing about Jadeveon Clowney when he was 16, and they called him Doo-Doo.
Yeah.
Because he made offensive linemen look like you-know-what. And I just kept – and he wasn't a guy that – in a day and age where everybody believes in hyperbole, he wasn't a guy that would exaggerate much. He's like, Mike, I'm telling you right now, you haven't seen many guys like this. And then I remember the recruiting battle, and again, that's when Carolina was just slaying it. Every in-state 4 or 5-star guy was going to Carolina over Clemson or anybody else. But JC and I talked about this during that time years and years ago, because that's when I just got started. JC and I had started to know each other. We did a show together. Is the state of South Carolina ever going to be able to produce this 2-3 year run of just absolute studs? And JC at the time was like, no, Mike, this is not normal. This can't be. Think about it. And this goes, you include Gilmore, Clowney, you include Lattimore, you include Alshon Jeffrey. It was just one after the other that these weren't just good South Carolina players. These were players everybody in the country wanted. They just all wound up at Carolina. But that's not always the case, right? Sometimes in-state recruiting can be cyclical. That was one hell of a cycle. And Clowney was right up there. But, I mean, it really all started with Gilmore and Marcus Lattimore. You can make the case Marcus Lattimore is one of the most important recruits in the history of the program.
Yeah. I think Steve Spurrier said that honor went to Stephon Gilmore. But you can make case for certainly all of them. Alshon actually is going to be on our show later on this month, so we look forward to that. I'll ask him if he pumps his own gas or not.
I remember that like it was yesterday. That was Lane Kiffin.
That was Lane Kiffin. Lane's grown up
Lane Kiffin.
a little bit in the last 20 years.
A little bit. Oh, Lane had him. He had him going to Southern Cal, and then he wound up, of course, at Carolina. And Lane was 1-0 against the Gamecocks during his time at Tennessee, but then that was short-lived.
I was at that game. For a reminder, speaking of all that Rock Hill talk, if you are a fan of the area of Rock Hill and high school football and sports in general, then you should be a subscriber to fourquarterfriday.com. They're covering it as well as anybody out there. fourquarterfriday.com for just $1. Nick Muse also signed with the Detroit Lions. Tight end, former tight end at South Carolina, so he'll play in the same division, but against a rival. He was brought into the league by the Minnesota Vikings. Lenore Sellers yesterday named to the Maxwell Award watch list. That's not surprising, is all one of 81 players on the list and one of 16 out of the SEC. And the South Carolina Stat of the day. In the last 2 years, Carolina, 54% of their opponents have been ranked. That is number one in college football.
Say that again?
56% of their opponents have been ranked in the last 2 years. That is number one in college football.
In the last 2 years, rankings when they played them.
Yeah,
right?
ranked when they played them.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at that. But again, that's why I really think, relatively speaking, nobody's got an easy SEC schedule. Relatively speaking, Carolina caught a break this year.
Well, we're going to find out. I will not predict schedules anymore because you don't know who anybody is anymore. Matter of fact, and that, by the way, wraps up the Gamecock Report presented by Gamecock Traditions, GamecockTraditions.com. Over 120 now, over 120 items with the Nike swoosh are at Gamecock Traditions, GamecockTraditions.com. Get your Carolina football gear with the season right around the corner. Who was it the other day that it might have been Rhett Lashley, and if it was Rhett Lashley, I agree with him. He said, nobody knows who anybody is anymore. How in the world do we have all these predictions about the most difficult schedules and this, that, and the other? Nobody knows who's even on the team. And I said, you're right. I agree with you on that, because going into just using South Carolina as an example, and then we got to get to a break, but Carolina was predicted to be doo-doo, speaking of that term, in 2024. And they went out and won 9 games and probably could have won 11 just as easily as they won 9 if it wasn't for LSU and Alabama and what transpired in those 2 contests. Last year, top 15 team, couldn't beat anybody. Vanderbilt, out of nowhere, pretty good the last couple of years. We'll see this year, obviously, and you can safely predict teams like Georgia. We know that, but you just never know in that middle class who's going to pop. Somebody's going to be better, and somebody's going to be worse, and we'll talk to Preston Thorne about some of that here in just a little bit. Because when you look at the projections every year with South Carolina, and I'm not picking on you, Mike. This has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about every national column that's ever written, every one of them. Good luck finding one without it. They all reference the schedule. Yeah, it's the SEC. It's going to be hard every single year. It's up to whoever you are, if you're South Carolina or Missouri or Georgia or Tennessee or whatever, to be better than the teams that you're playing against. You just know that they're going to be good. You have to be better if you want to win more games. I just think it's that simple.
Yes. I do think there's a difference, though. Like, not all 8-game and now 9-game conference slates are built the same.
No, but you don't know. I mean, like, you look at some of these schedules and you go, like, who's got the weakest schedule in the SEC? Predicted. You look at it and you go, that's probably the weakest schedule in the league. Missouri.
I went over that the other day, but I'll grab it.
I know it's hard.
Yeah, I've got like a stack of. I got my Ciancia guide here, so today I'm more. Does that show up over Joe Green's? No, it doesn't really. Well, no. Take the day off, cameraman. But I've got that. But yeah, Missouri is one of the easier. I mean, look, here's the thing. You already mentioned it. You can pretty much predict Georgia's one of those teams you don't want to play. You don't want to play Texas either.
Right.
You just don't. You do want to play Arkansas. And you wouldn't mind playing Mississippi State, for all the talk about how dangerous that game may or may not be. I would much rather have Mississippi State than LSU or Ole Miss on the schedule. So, yeah, a lot of it's unpredictable, but it's not that unpredictable. Like, Carolina has been, you're right, one of the most unpredictable teams really for a while. Mm-hmm. They're always picked in the middle, but sometimes they're just bad. And then every now and then you have a 2024 where nobody predicted the team would be that good. First of all, nobody knew anything about Lenora Sellers other than recruiting stuff. And and when I say nobody, I'm not including the local media or
No,
people on
I know.
this show.
I know what you're saying.
You know, I'm talking about the national writers. They never saw him play. They weren't breaking down film at Florence.
Right.
And they certainly didn't know a lot of the players that were picked up in the portal on that defense would be that good, right? I mean, they just, that was hard to forecast. But it's really not that hard to predict the very top and to predict the very bottom. I'd rather play Kentucky than Alabama. Like, these are not hard statements to make. The middle is the most unpredictable, and that's typically where Carolina finds itself.
Yeah.
In the middle, right?
Yep.
I mean, and the middle is thicker and heavier in the SEC than it is anywhere else. On the JT's Kia drive around the SEC, we're going to go over some of the Big Ten SEC hoopla, which, again, as we discussed yesterday, the Big Ten talked a lot of smack, right? I mean, you know, the coaches talk smack, the commissioner talked smack. Some people on the Big Ten Network talk smack, and that's fine. Like, they have their, you win 3 titles in a row with 3 different teams, you got bragging rights. And if you're Brett Bielema and you've won 2 bowl games over SEC teams, you've got bragging rights. The numbers are not quite as dominating, though, as you might think head-to-head, because, again, the middle of the SEC is still better than the middle of the Big Ten.
That's right.
I don't think most even informed Big Ten fans argue that. Their response to that would be, well, who cares? We got the trophies and you don't.
Yeah.
You know what? Mic drop. You got that. That's true.
I mean, but two things can be true at the same time, and that's your point.
I say that all the time. You're absolutely right. Two things can be true at the same time. It's not always an either or. It's not always a binary choice. The SEC is deeper. The Big Ten has had the better at the top the last 3 years. Period. I mean, Indiana proved it. Ohio State proved it, and Michigan proved it. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe all 3 of them beat at least one SEC team during either the regular season or the postseason, or even both. So, good. I mean, go ahead and have a party over it. We'll see if it continues this year, because I think there's a good chance Michigan is not great, even though I respect the hire they made.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a good chance Indiana takes a step back to kind of double back on Phil's answer to your question yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phil said Indiana on teams that could be, what was the question? Not most disappointing, but a playoff contender that could actually not be a true playoff contender.
Yeah. Who are you not buying as a playoff contender?
Oh, he said Louisville, right? I'm sorry. He said, somebody said Indiana.
No, he said Louisville was a surprise. He said Indiana.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He wasn't buying.
Yeah. I had it right the first time. Yeah. So, and I don't disagree with that. Like, are they gonna strike magic in a bottle 3 years in a row on transfer quarterbacks? Because the kid 2 years ago from Canada, who transferred, was pretty good too. He wasn't Mendoza good, but he's pretty good. And then Mendoza, of course, was lights out good. Is Hoover going to be lights out good? I don't know.
We'll find out soon enough. We're going to find Preston Thorne in just a minute. Mike, take us to a timeout, please, sir.
Let's do that, shall we? Let's talk about Ryan Brewer Fence. Talking about recruiting and putting a fence up around the state of South Carolina. You know, that's what Ryan does for a living now. And he has a great staff of people that also help him do it. He puts up those fences. He puts up those railings. He puts up those columns all around the state of South Carolina, no matter where you live. And he's been doing it nearly 20 years now. So when he's not winning like Outback Bowl MVPs and he's not coaching girls soccer teams to success, doing his best Tad Lasso impersonation, he is actually building the best fencing at the best prices in the best time frame of anybody in the state of South Carolina. Ryan Brewer Fence, ryanbrewer.net is the website where you can get a free estimate. You can also just give them a call and they'll come out and give you a free estimate. They've got great people on the staff there, Lane Wofford and all the great folks that help Ryan Brewer Fence do such an amazing job. Again, check out the website, ryanbrewer.net, for more information and cool pics and such. ryanbrewer.net, Ryan Brewer Fence.
1022 PT next here on the morning show.
If you own a home, don't wait on these home safety tips. Flush your water heater, clean your dryer vent, and inspect your roof annually. Don't forget to check washer hoses and caulk in wet areas. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com.
Now hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution. Beautiful like new floors in just one day. Hardwood, vinyl, laminate, concrete, tile floors. Any floor. We can do it. No dust, affordable, and 5 stars. Give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365. Or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks.
Do you carry? Carry responsibly with us. What could you lose from a self-defense act? Visit protectwithbear.com to find out more. Protectwithbear.com.
Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage can help you save big today anywhere in South Carolina. Over 27 years experience. Visit ggmortgage.com. Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage says go Gamecocks.
Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions are your local home protection experts. Crawl space encapsulation, sump pump and drain installs, humidity control, duct cleaning, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and French drains. We do it all. Visit dryspacecs.com. dryspacecs.com. Go Gamecocks.
If you have experienced water damage, storm damage, fire or smoke damage, or need mold remediation, you need Resto Pros of the Midlands. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com and go Gamecocks.
Subscribe to FourQuarterFriday.com for just $1. High school sports coverage in South Carolina. Part of Rivals and on 3.
Bring on your forces of nature. Bring on the storm that's raging. If you get lost in the shadows, there's a fire inside you. Be the light that guides you. Come on, carry your flame. Carry it higher. Even in the darkness, carry your torches. Come on, carry your flame. Set the night on fire. Even in the darkness.
All right, it's 10:25. Welcome back to the morning show. Carolina football coverage presented by Palm Casual, the best outdoor patio furniture you can find. And if you're in the low country, you can go see them in Mount Pleasant or in Somerville, the home of Preston Thorne, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Bluffton. They're all over Florida, Georgia. They're everywhere. And folks shop with them from all over the place. PalmCasual.com. PT, it's time to practice. What's up, brother?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing this morning?
You know, that was the great line from Allen Iverson. Talk about practice, man. Did I ever tell you that I saw Allen Iverson in the Harrah's Cherokee Casino in Cherokee, North Carolina?
Well, I do that. You never told me this, but AI in a casino, I imagine he was shorter and skinnier than you thought he was.
Well, he was. That's true, but it took me some fun. I knew that somebody was important was across the way, because if you've ever been to the Harrah's Cherokee Casino, so just some things are just going to stand out. And 5 or 6 guys who are like 6'5", 280 pounds standing in one spot, that stands out. And so I was looking around going, yeah, somebody over there must be pretty important. And my wife and I made our way over there, and there he was, little Allen, right there in between all of his bouncers and bodyguards. And this lady, I was trying to get close enough to, I did get a photo, kind of. I got 2 of them, but I was trying to get a little bit closer, and they were having none of that. And this lady, she worked the floor, and she said, "Well, Mr. Iverson, your table is ready." And he said, "Don't be calling my name out like that." he was not happy that he got called out on the floor of the casino. But he did get his own table, and we never actually shook hands or anything like that. But it was kind of neat to see Allen Iverson.
And an elite high school quarterback, I might add. A
Oh.
top 10 in the country coming out of Hampton.
Mike, it's surprised you said that. It's interesting you say that because his highlights just came across my algorithm the other day, and man, it's amazing. I had no idea we were going to talk about this, but what is amazing is how somebody looks on a basketball court compared to how somebody looks on a football field. Because on a basketball court he's tiny, and on a football field he looked like he's still a little undersized, but he looked formidable for high school.
100%. I mean, I interviewed him once at a Hornets game, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, man, I can't believe a guy this size. I'm looking at him eye to eye. At that time, I was much skinnier. He was skinny. And I'm like, how does he dominate this game?
Yeah.
But I used to fall recruiting, not like JC, but just for giggles. And I remember I kept all the like top 10 lists of positions and whatnot. And watching his highlight reel, he was Mike Vick's size or Ronald Curry or any of those.
There you go.
But he could throw now. He wasn't just running all over the place. He could throw the ball downfield. There's no doubt in my mind he could have been a starter at a Power 4 school in college football had he decided to go that route.
How tall is AI? 5'11"?
He's 6 feet. I mean, I think they listed him at 6'1" coming out of college, and then everybody always wants to go, well, he's so small. He's actually 5, whatever. In socks, he's a good 6 feet, but it's not so much the height that amazes me. They're like Russell Wilson's 5'10" or whatever, but he's thick. He put together now. Allen was skin and bones, man. I mean, he was he was thin. It looked like if he took a hit on a football field, you'd crack him in two. So he probably made the right choice, but there's no doubt he could play at that level if he could have stayed healthy.
I guess to kind of bring it around to the Gamecocks, that was my first impression when I saw Spencer in person. I was like, man, he is slight. You know, he's not a big guy at all. But I mean, he had that cannon. You know, he had that cannon when you saw the ball throw, it's like, oh wow. It's kind of what even made it more impressive because it's like, how is the ball coming out of that dude's ass? It was pretty crazy.
Right.
Well, it's going to come out of Lenora Sellers' hands this year. Camp begins Friday. They'll report Thursday. We've got media day and all that stuff, and then they're going to start. They're going to start practicing on Friday morning at 9:25 a.m. I believe. What is your biggest concern, PT, entering camp?
Ooh, concern. I mean, all right. Let's move Dylan Stewart's injury to the side.
Yeah.
All right, because I think that's everybody's trying to figure out where that stands. But I don't know if I'm going into this year with as many concerns as I am kind of just very more curious than concerned because we have all of these new things that are happening, the new offense, the new offensive line. I'm more curious this year than I am whether that's, I don't know what that means, but concern is not really the first word that I have in mind as we approach camp.
The thing that's interesting is that, certainly there are some things that are pretty much decided, although Coach Beamer would differ when you say something publicly like that. He'd say, no, nothing's decided. And I get it. But the level of competition that is healthy at certain position groups is a little rare for South Carolina football. Sometimes it's like, well, somebody's going to have to play. But that's not really the case right now. I think you look at the linebackers, we know who's going to play there. You look at the defensive tackles, we know who's going to play there, and then some. You mentioned the edge position. Okay, if you pull Stewart out of this, you've got very healthy competition, and you better be on the lookout for number 93, Julian Walker. You look in the secondary. It's pretty. I think we know who's going to start at corner, Collier and Swain. You've got a good competition going on with the safeties. I think Peyton Williams is going to probably be pretty safe. Fifth-year senior who's played under Torian Gray, right? I mean, those guys are generally pretty safe. The nickel position is got a healthy competition. And then you flip it up to the other side. Well, we know who the quarterback is. We have a pretty good idea who most of the offensive linemen are, but there are healthy competitions there. Nick Harbor's one wide receiver, and then you've got elite competition at those other positions. And then I think people are beginning to understand that this running back room is a little bit deeper than I think those who haven't paid attention as closely might have believed. So when you look at all of those competitions, how do you digest that? Is there something that stands out more than the others?
Yeah. So, and we can start with the running back competition. Whereas a couple of years ago, there weren't many options. I mean, Mario Anderson came along and he was fine, but it was a very bleak looking room as far as who was going to play, and all those guys gave a valiant effort, but they just didn't have it. And I think that's a little bit different this year. Those guys seem like they're going to have somebody to step up. I'm waiting to see who takes the step forward and announces themselves as the starter and the guy who's going to take a majority of the plays and a majority of the carries. And then also, I guess that leads back into my curiosity: was this room going to be coached? I think there's been a significant upgrade at coaching that position, and it's going to be interesting to see how the rotations go, how they're used, et cetera, et cetera. So the running back room is interesting. And then when you say the wide receivers, if we got one guy, we know we assume, and which rightfully I think Nick is going to be a starter, right? Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So you probably have at least 2 or 3 other positions that are being competed for, whether it's the other X or Y, whatever you call it, then your 2 slot guys. Going back to curiosity, how much 4 wide receivers are we going to be using this year? Is that going to be a thing that's really part of the competition? Would it be in would it be beneficial for us to use more 4 wide receiver sets because we have so many guys? Really interested in what that happens, and I've talked about it before here. I'm really interested in seeing what Mazio Bennett does in this competition, because I have no inside information, but the player he was last year was very different than the player that he stepped on the scene as, and it just feels like I think he's back on the right track. I'll just say that.
I am so on board with that. He was milk carton last year, right? I mean, he just wasn't. He wasn't a factor. If you didn't know any better, you would swear he must have been hurt or something. But never heard that he was. But clearly, he got passed by freshmen. He got passed by Jaden Sellers. He got passed by a number of guys. But freshman year, you looked at it. I mean, this conversation a year ago was like, man, Mazio Bennett, saw what he did as a freshman. Look at what he's going to do as a sophomore. It didn't happen. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes guys take a dip in year 2 and then they explode in year 3. So maybe that'll be the case.
Yeah, and anything can happen. And again, I have and I have to keep saying this because I'm just talking about my experiences as a player. A lot of things can happen. Players can lose focus in their second year. That could happen. I don't think that's the case with Mazio based on what we seem to know about who Mazio is and the people we know around the state. I don't think that's the case. Also, players can get in coaches' doghouses where it's very difficult to climb up out of that. That seems to me to be a little bit more likely to be the case, only because when the coach and his position coach was the OC, all of a sudden Mazio was back on the field. And that seems to me to make a little bit more sense. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to seeing how he produces this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really fascinating to kind of pry into the intel of the program over the last few months in that position because DJ Black is going to play, guys. I mean, everybody just needs to be prepared that this kid is going to play and he's pretty good. And and you mentioned Mazio, and Shane has talked about Mazio. Mike Furry talked about Mazio. He had a marvelous summer. He was spectacular in the spring. Donovan Murph is a physical wide receiver who catches the football. You know, we saw Jaden pop out there last year. We know what Nick is capable of. You know, look, those guys have to be physical too, Preston. This team's going to run the football well over 60% of the time, and they're going to have to be able to get out there and block and do all the little things right. They can't play because that's what this offense is built around, right? And extensions of the run game, doing the little things correctly. The running backs, I think, to me, is probably the most fascinating group because, you know, Shane sat here and told us in April, you know, Matt Fuller's got a chance to be one of the great ones. And that headline took off. And you know, when it's like now when any other name comes up, so I thought Matt Fuller was the guy. Well, Shane said he has a chance to be one of the great ones. It doesn't mean he doesn't have competition and that other guys aren't playing well too. But when you look into the story of all these kids that are competing, I had a guy tell me last week on staff, look, Stan recruited Jabri Coleman to Penn State because he could play, not because he can't. And now Jabri Coleman is here at South Carolina, and he is doing a lot of really good things. Christian Clark went to Texas because he can play, not because he can't. Christian Clark is going to compete to play a lot. Isaiah Augustov looks amazing, and Isaiah Augustov committed to play for Kendall Briles at Arkansas. I mean, this was the offense he committed to play in, PT, and then Briles left and went to TCU.
I didn't know that.
Briles left and goes to TCU. He leaves and goes and plays for Prime out in Colorado, leads the team in rushing in an offense that threw it like 99% of the time is what it felt like, at least. I mean, they never ran the football out there. And then he comes here. He's got a little case of the drops, not holding on to the football. He had a great summer. And then you got Juwan Howell, who might be the most physical back on the team, who's just downhill. If the ball is in his hands, he's going to come at you, and it's going to be hard to. So and you get 10 years of Power 4 experience on this group, between this group. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, you know, when you look at it, when you look at all the tailbacks, it's honestly, at the end of the day, if you just describe that group at Georgia or describe that group at Alabama, people be looking at this differently. But it's South Carolina, and they haven't been able to run the football worth a damn for God knows how long around here, other than when they brought in Rocket Sanders. And so I think people are apprehensive, and I understand that. I'm not saying I'm not. But they've got a story to tell. And I think over the next few weeks in camp, I think we're going to hear all of their names pop. And then you've got about 8 quarters to probably figure out who's going to get the bulk of the carries come SEC play.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because if you put a different jersey on players, then all of a sudden their ratings go up a little bit, their evaluations are a little bit higher. You know, like, you know, because you was thinking about that. I was thinking about that as you were talking about the running back room and the idea of depth. You have depth because you don't have a guy. And then other times, I'm just thinking about when I played, you know, we had, I think it was 03 or 04, you know, it was like Demetrius Summers, Corey Board, and Kenny Irons was the man left out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those were really, any one of those guys could have been the guy. So that's a different level of depth. I guess what we're looking for, the question we want to see answers is it that type of thing, or is it everybody sort of in the median? And we'll see.
So,
That's right.
Okay, and like you remind everybody, and I appreciate you reminding people, like, you know, it's not like the coaches are calling Preston Thorne every morning. Preston, here's the latest on the depth chart.
Right.
That's not the way coaches roll.
No.
But in your mind,
keep it secret though, PT.
Let's go week 3. Mississippi State.
Yep.
3rd down, 7, 10 personnel, 1 running back, no tight end, 4 wide. Let's go split twin formation. Give me your 4 wideouts on the field.
Ooh, okay. Well, we're gonna have. Oh, this is a great question. I would like to see Nick Harbor split out wide. Donovan Murph split out the other side wide. I want my 2 big physical guys out there. Then probably Jaden and Mazio in those slots. And then again, I've yet to see DJ Black with my eyes, but that's always an open that's always an opportunity for that to happen. But those are again, these are guys that I haven't seen, so I can't necessarily say, but all signs indicate that they could be those types of. You had to answer your question. Those would be my 4. Nick, Donovan. And you see me getting my football hands going.
No, I like it. I like it. We just need to get a board behind you. Let you do a little John Madden action.
You get Nick, you get Donovan, Jaden, and Mazio, and those will probably be my 4.
I like it. That's not a bad quartet. That's not a bad quartet. I mean, we've seen a lot worse.
Am I overlooking anybody that's been here or anybody that maybe is possibly?
Well, the only name that we talked about Black earlier, and then Nitro Tuggle. Those are the only two guys that I was thinking.
And the only reason was just because I haven't seen those guys.
Right. Yeah, and I'm the same. Like, I don't just buy into, well, I heard he looks great at practice, this newcomer that we haven't seen. That's great. You know how many times I've heard that over the course of 25 years?
Right.
I'm sure.
Oh, no, my intel tells me. That's great. Your intel sucks, okay?
Yeah.
Or maybe an assistant coach led you the wrong way that you're relying on information for. Or maybe that coach is just wrong. That does happen too. Like, it's, so we'll know when they actually hit the field. We know now who looks good and physically who's there, but it's usually a safer bet to bet on guys that have been in the program that were already, have some skills. And that's where again, Mazio fits in, because there were a lot of things to like in the freshman year. And then it was, where'd he go? Where is he?
Yeah.
Sophomore year.
Well, and I think that's what's so positive about all this. Again, it could all turn out to be negative. I mean, I'm not projecting that, but I think that's what's so positive. You brought up, and I wrote a column about this the other day, the 2023 running backs group. It's the same thing, really, that you're talking about with wide receivers. But I mean, that year we were a guy. I don't know how to say it, but Mike, you talk about Intel not being very good. That was an instance as it pertained to us. I mean, DeCarrion Joyner was moved to running back. Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. And look, he looked good, and he was doing this and doing that. Mm-hmm. He didn't look good, guys. Like, no disrespect to DeCarrion Joyner. He wasn't an SEC running back. And DJ Braswell was on that team. Young kid, and we hadn't heard all the fluff on him at all. But it was like, he's got some talent. He did have talent. But he was a young kid who hadn't figured it out yet. The most experienced tailback they had on the team was Stratford's finest, Mario Anderson. And, Mario from Somerville, who came from Newberry. And everybody just wrote off this running back from Newberry because he came from Newberry. Well, we saw him take the football against Furman that year. And I remember telling JC after the game, I said, that's the best running back on the team. I just saw it with my own eyes. I can tell you.
It was immediate. It was like, oh, that's the guy.
That's the guy. Like, but they didn't have a running back. Like, it was trial by error to figure out, okay. And while Mario was pretty good for an SEC team, and this is like, I hope this doesn't come off wrong, because I like Mario Anderson. He is a good dude who is a good football player. That's a tough spot to be in. The only guy you've got is a transfer from Newberry. Now, I'm not saying that D2 guys can't make it. We just saw it happen at Missouri just a couple of years ago. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they went through all this to find that, and that's all they had. And right now, that's not the case with that group. That's not the case with the wide receivers. Like, we are searching for the answers because we don't know what they are, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to have the answers. We just don't know what they're going to be yet.
And as you said, it's probably the cool part for everybody, I think, is that there's a new coach who doesn't have a lot of he's seen everybody with fresh eyes. So it's an actual true open competition. So he's going to make his decision not based on prior relationships or anything like that. And I think that's all you can really ask for as a player, going into an open competition, because this is what it is.
Well, I want to credit your friend Jay Phillips on that. He asked Kendall a great question last Thursday about, basically what was his process once he got here? How much film did he watch on these guys?
Oh, yeah.
What did he know? And Kendall said, respectfully, I didn't watch 1 second of film on anybody here, and that includes Lenora Sellers. Whatever happened before I got here, I don't care about. I wanted to make my own evaluation. I don't know if I've ever heard a coach say that. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But for an offense that was putrid last year, that was the most refreshing comment I'd heard in a long time.
Does that mean he didn't watch any of 2024 either?
He said he hadn't watched anything over the last couple of years.
The offense did some good things in 2024.
Yeah, but I don't think he cares about that. Which, I mean, a guy with his track record, why would you? I understand that. You're that confident in who you are.
Well,
he
yeah,
has a lot of confidence building.
Sure.
Like if we have a problem, we need to solve it now, not in 2 quarters. I love that. Like that to me screams offensive coordinator.
Yeah, no, he doesn't need to cheat off anybody's papers, so to speak. But he might want to just look at, okay, what were the plays that worked best for a guy like Lenoris Sellers?
I disagree with that. I mean,
you might be right. I mean, if he says he didn't, we'll take him at his word. I'm just saying, I'm sure somewhere along the line he's come across some tape of South Carolina football the last couple of years. I don't think he's been. It's everywhere. Like he could have done it out of blind curiosity when he was still at TCU. Who knows? But he's not going in like completely dumbfounded by what happened the last 2 years, what worked, what didn't work, what kind of player this guy is, what kind of tendency those guys have. That I don't buy, but it doesn't matter. I mean, he's going to put his fingerprints all over it. There's no questioning that. And you're going to see. But the thing I like about Kendall Briles, and I've said this a number of times, not all of his quarterbacks fit a certain mold. Whoever the starter is next year is not going to be Lenoris Sellers athletically. He's just not. He's not going to look like Lenoris Sellers in stature. He's not going to move like Lenoris Sellers. And there's a good chance his arm isn't quite as strong as Lenoris Sellers. But maybe he's better at certain facets too. Who knows? But you're going to have a situation where he's a different type of player. Kendall Briles, if you track him going back to his days, even a lower level assistant, working under his dad, up the ranks to quarterback coach, offensive coordinator at multiple stops, they haven't all been one shape, size, different, same ability. They've been different. Some have been pocket passers. Some have been scramblers. Some have been guys that you want to run 15 times. Like they've all been different, and they've all had a certain level of success. That's what I loved about the hire. Like I love a guy who can adapt to the personnel he has. And that's what he's going to have to do, not just in 2026, but 27, 28, 29, and beyond.
I hope you're right about 28, 29, and beyond, because that means things are going well.
If they go 4-8 again, everything I just said is completely irrelevant because chances are he won't be here, right?
He'll be adapting somewhere else. But
He'll be adapting somewhere else.
I remember, to your point, at PT, I'm sure you remember this, his opening press conference. I don't remember who asked him the question, but the question was something about Lenoris and his offense. And he said, well, with all due respect to your question, it's really, how do we build our offense around Lenoris Sellers? And that to me, again, screams, I know what I'm doing here. I know what type of, I know what I'm looking for. And I think that's what's pretty exciting.
Yeah, because that was one of his preconditions for taking the job. Is 16 going to be there? Okay, we can move forward with this conversation, or at least, I'll take more of a consideration for the job if 16 is going to be there for sure.
Yeah, and I think to Mike's point too, where I was disagreeing was there's a difference in watching film and knowing that a kid's a good football player. Like he doesn't have to go back and study, 20 games of Lenoris Sellers to do that, to figure out this, that, and the other. He knows the kid's talented and what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, and I think the word you said was like studying film. I don't think he was break. He's seen some highlights though. He's seen some highlights, but he ain't studying because why?
Yeah. You'd have to be on Mars to not see.
And even there, you might have seen it.
Even there, you might. Yeah, Elon Musk probably sent some emails over to the folks on Mars, said you ought to check out this run against Clemson. But yeah, I mean, he knows he's seen plays that work, and he also knows the struggles last year, and he knows, okay, here are things I need to adjust. Here are things that need to be done differently in 2026.
Well,
any new coach that's dealing with a returning starter at quarterback, there's a degree of, okay, let me put this thing in the lab and figure out what it is that has worked the best, what it is that has not, where can this improve? I mean, all those things, that's just the nature of the beast if you're taking over a situation like that. I'd be shocked if Kendall didn't do any of that, and I'd be shocked if he didn't mold some of the play calling to Lenoris's skill set. just as he did with Jefferson at Arkansas, as he did with Hoover at TCU. Like, it's not, these are my 30 plays and I run them how I run them. I think you adjust to the personnel you have.
Well, that was last year.
Yes, it was.
PT, it's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. If you have to, where is your? I'm craving a chocolate chip cookie.
Okay.
Where's the go-to chocolate chip cookie store for you?
Okay. We can now we're talking about we saved the good stuff. I'm not sure many folks know this, but there's right around the corner from me is a Chick-fil-A, and they do have a very underrated chocolate chip. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you're picking up, the sandwich or the nuggets or whatever, do yourself a favor. It's warm, it's chewy in the middle, a little bit of crust on the edge. It's a very solid chocolate chip. It may not be the best, but if you're just looking for one to get one in the convenient time, I'll go with Chick-fil-A.
They have great chocolate chip cookies. I agree with you. And I also got to give a shout out to my buddy Mike Sisko, who owns Honey Baked Ham. But this is really a shout out to all of them if they're following the steps correctly. Honey Baked Ham has phenomenal chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. See, I didn't know this. That's something we do partake in throughout the year. So, and there's one not too far from me, so that is something good to know.
Yeah, if you're baking your cookies correctly at Honey Baked Ham, they're supposed to be wonderful and squishy and however else you would describe a good chocolate chip cookie.
Great finisher after you enjoy a great meal at D's. Just, they have desserts there too, but maybe if you want to go double dip.
Now, Mike, is this a skillet cookie or what's going on with this?
No. I'm not. I'm saying you can get your cookie from Honey Baked Ham.
Okay.
After you have your lunch or dinner at D's, conveniently located in West Columbia, not too far from one Preston Thorne.
Gotcha. Yes, I'm just checking because I'm always on the hunt.
Yeah, I don't think they have cookies. They got everything else for dessert, but not cookies.
The restaurant up at Cataloochee and Maggie Valley Switchback, which is my favorite restaurant in the whole world, they have a ice cream sandwich as dessert that is freshly made chocolate chip cookies with ice cream between it, basically squished down to it's out of this world. I mean, it is out and it's enormous. So
you don't get to play nose guard in the SEC by not knowing this type of information. So I very much understand this language we're talking here.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll talk about the nose guards next week, as a matter of fact. We'll get into the tackles once they actually get into practice this weekend. PT, athletesанdartists.net as well. Hey, those of you out there, teachers, principals in schools, if you would like Preston and Langston Moore to come read at your school, athletesанdartists.net. And folks at home, if you would like to order the best series of books ever, that's where you can order them as well. Just a Chicken is life-changing. And for you parents who would just like a quiet night alone, if you would like Preston to come read to you, that's for an additional fee, but you can also go to athletesанdartists.net.
That's in the VIP tier. We can get that done.
Do any of your books have the audio
Preston's
version?
here again to read.
Do you have an audio version of your books or no?
We've explored it. We have explored it. I would say it's not very cost efficient, so we're working some ways around it.
Oh, I thought you just recorded it in your phone and just like texted it out or something. No?
Okay. Well, that's what we thought until we saw that price tag. We was like, oh no, we can't do that.
Which that could be a Venmo thing, like somebody just Venmo you, hey, $50, I'll record the whole book and send it to you, something like that.
We always looking for ways.
Oh man, so good to see you. Happy football season, brother. Enjoy the Panthers on Thursday night. Big Hall of Fame game coming up here. Football until February. We've got football every week if you include the NFL.
Do we have anybody trying to make a roster with the Panthers? Is Brian? No, he's with the Jaguars.
We do.
I would always. This is my thing for everybody. Hey man, I know people bag on preseason football, but those dudes are playing for their livelihood. Yeah. So they are playing hard. They may not be good, but they are playing with effort for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I watch. I mean, I broadcasted them. I watch them. I love seeing the battle of training camp to make a roster spot. To me, is just good TV.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. Haynes King is the third quarterback for the Panthers. I bet he plays.
Yeah, you'll see Haynes for sure.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Oh, Felipe Franks is there. He's a tight end. I didn't realize he was with the Panthers. Oh my God! All right,
No, he's bounced around.
yeah, he's been around. Thank you, brother. Wonderful to see you.
All right.
Appreciate
See you,
it.
PT.
See y'all later, man. Have a good day.
Okay,
You too.
You too. There you go. All right, it's 10:58. When we return, Mike's going to crank up the Kia Telluride and drive us all the way around the SEC. Right here.
Subscribe to thebigspur.com. Proud partners of On3.
Gamecock Traditions is your Nike superstore and your home for anything and everything with a South Carolina logo. Visit us in the Midlands and order online at GamecockTraditions.com. Go Gamecocks!
It's time to bring the gym to you. Do it your way on your time in your home. We all have busy lives, kids, work, and anything else that can interrupt our daily routine. Maybe it's free weights or a treadmill. Maybe it's a rower or a home gym. Visit Charleston Fitness Equipment and start taking care of you. Do it your way. CharlestonFitnessEquipment.com. Go Gamecocks.
Visit fourquarterfriday.com and join the Varsity Club for just $1 today.
Whether it's fireside or poolside, if it's time to watch the Gamecocks, Palm Casual will make your outdoor space the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com and come see us at one of our South Carolina locations. Go Gamecocks!
Today and every day, we celebrate our great state of South Carolina. This week, our hometown highlight takes us to the PD in Lake City, home of the great Darla Moore and our friends in Johnsonville. We love the PD.
Hey guys, this is Mason West with the West Law Firm. We want to say hey to all our friends and family out in Lake City and the Johnsonville areas. This is a great football part of the state. We can help y'all out in any way. Give us a call, 843-897-7525.
Join thebigspur.com and Gamecock Central today for the best Gamecock coverage in South Carolina. Proud partners of On3.
Whether it's fireside or poolside, if it's time to watch the Gamecocks, Palm Casual will make your outdoor space the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com and come see us at one of our South Carolina locations. Go Gamecocks!
Andy, why are you burning all that money?
Because if you're buying a Honda or Toyota, that's exactly what you're doing. Look at the new Kia K4. It's $2,000 less than the Civic, and Honda only has a 5-year warranty. JT's Kia has a 1,000,000-mile warranty.
Don't forget JT's Advantage package. Oil changes, roadside assistance, and so much more. Why burn money?
840 North Anderson Road, where we're serious about saving you money.
JT's Kia Rock Hill.
Kia summer sticker sales event.
Shopping at Gamecock Traditions is easy. Just pick up your phone. Type in GamecockTraditions.com. Select your items and purchase. They will ship it to your doorstep. GamecockTraditions.com.
The Aventon Adventure 2 takes the same basic design as the original Aventon Adventure, making it an adventure bike designed to take you places that typical roads just don't reach, allowing you to ride whatever terrain you want based on your whims of the day. Look at what you're getting. Hydraulic disc brakes, torque sensor for responsive pedal assist, great LED lighting, suspension, a beautifully welded frame with excellent build quality, included rear rack, included fenders. The list just keeps going on.
Visit electricbikescharleston.com for more.
Sell your quality sports and fitness equipment to Play It Again Sports and get paid. Recycling your in-demand sports gear keeps it available in your community. Sell, buy, trade, and win with Play It Again Sports.
If you need a new fence, railings, even new columns, there is only one call in South Carolina. Gamecock Great. Ryan Brewer. Over 15 years in the industry. Visit ryanbrewer.net today.
Watch JC and Morgan every week on the Chief Sports Network. Now back to ITG. You're tuned into Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, part of the Chief Sports Network, proudly presented by the West Law Firm, and brought to you in partnership with Resto Pros of the Midlands. Go Gamecocks!
It's now time to take a drive around the SEC, presented by JT's Kia across South Carolina.
Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
The home of JT's Advantage Package.
On the road again.
Featuring tire rotations,
Just
oil
can't wait to
changes,
get
and
on the
more.
road again. Woohoo! The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again.
Are we there yet?
No. On the road again. Going places that I've never been.
Are we there yet?
No. Seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again.
Are we there yet?
No! On the road again. Like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway.
Make your next trip reliable with JT's Kia. It's time to get on the road again.
There goes Mike, riding around in his Telluride.
I love
Somewhere
that
in
open, by the
Georgia.
way. Did I mention that? I love that open.
I like it. It's good.
Well, I went way back into the vault for that. Darren and I had a similar segment on JB and Goldwater, and had a lot of that stuff. So I said, you know what, we're gonna make this fun again. So I went,
how's old Goldwater doing?
I think he's doing well. I haven't talked to him much, but he texted me a couple months ago. And
Okay. All right. As is polite when somebody enters your home, JC, Mad Dog, welcome. Good to have you on board.
Happy to be
Gentlemen are well. Going with the four horsemen here.
JC is getting. They start the mall Santa Clauses start growing their beards usually in July and August, and JC's just letting it flow.
Hey, I would totally do that if I could grow the beard. Like, no, yeah, not fooling.
JC, you got about 90 days before little kids are sitting on your lap again, bud.
The wife likes it.
I know the feeling.
Is she Mrs. Claus?
No. She can't. I mean,
do y'all like dress up?
That would be hilarious.
Would be great.
All right.
I'm not a big Santa Claus person. It's not.
Oh, I am.
I liked getting toys when I was a kid.
All right.
So,
we ready?
Big gulps, huh? Go ahead, Mike.
Time for the JT's Kia drive around the SEC, Killian Road, Greystone Boulevard, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Check them out today, tomorrow, whenever you're in the market for a new or used automobile. Since we have all four of us on screen here, let's start with a guy that all four of us know. So this picture, the first one on the golf course, Phil, Michael Haney put this out on social media the other day. That is the Media Golf Gala in 2007. That's when I first met Shane, got to know Shane a little bit. Jay Phillips, you mentioned him earlier, Jamie, one of my former cohorts. He does a show still in 107.5. I don't know when or with whom, but I'm sure he's doing great work. And Michael
healthy.
Haney. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, who's put on the most weight. Haney's lost weight. I haven't seen Jay in a while. Shane looks about the same.
Well, this is back in the long sleeve era of sports too. This is back when this was the Jinko era for college basketball and the long sleeve era for everything.
Yeah. So Michael Haney, for those who don't know, now a musician in Nashville and a songwriter. He was a longtime producer for us at my show in the afternoon and stayed there for a while and then finally escaped Alcatraz and now has moved on to bigger and better things. And Michael, as he's kind of trimmed down, he's in great shape, which makes it harder to explain the following photo that he posted, again, like 2 days ago, as Michael Haney is now in a different state of mind. This was healthy Michael, young, whole life ahead of him, just doing what he can. And then all of a sudden, a walk in Nashville, a walk, not a run. He wasn't leaping hurdles. He wasn't doing the 110 hurdles. He wasn't doing an Ironman. I'm guessing we can't get that picture to pop.
I'm trying to find it. I can't find his, I don't have his Twitter, I think. Or whatever. Who knows?
I texted it to you.
Is it? I don't. Is that
the picture?
Hold on.
Yeah,
I got
He's the only one with him in braces, looking like Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's. Oh, shoot.
That picture.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, give me just a second.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
So Michael, we've all had like an embarrassing injury a time or two, and if you're active, you even have more. Like, there's nothing worse than like tearing a Achilles when you're playing pickleball. Michael was merely just walking, took one bad step, hit a pebble, and then that move tore his right quad tendon. So what happens? You feel a jolt of pain in your leg, and then you try to balance it, but you don't want to fall, so you balance it with the other leg. Guess what he did to the left leg? He tore another quad tendon. Doctors say this is a miracle of modern medicine. They can't remember somebody tearing two quad tendons. There it is.
Yeah.
He tore two quad tendons walking, not chasing a squirrel, not running from a gunman trying to rob him blind, just walking.
Not
For those who
taking
think
an
I'm being
electric
cool,
scooter downhill after a football game, Phil.
not taking an electric scooter downhill.
I know he needs a better
Nothing.
story.
He does need a better story, but in all seriousness, and I know Michael well enough to know that he has a dark sense of humor like I do, so he's not overly sensitive. It does suck. He's going to be laid out. Like, those legs have to stay straight like that for 10 weeks. You ever tried sleeping with two braces where you can't bend your legs? That is, so Michael had to cancel his Nashville Nights tour. Well, he didn't cancel it. Somebody else filled in for him. But that goes on every year in Columbia, South Carolina. He was not able to go. And he's not obviously going to be able to go on many tours here for a while. So we wish him well. There might be a future little kind of fundraising tour of some kind for Michael. But in all seriousness, it does suck. I can't imagine how painful that was. And then literally you're sitting on the pavement. He was by himself. He's trying to get someone to help him. He can't get up. That is just bad. So if you feel like you've had a sucky injury, this takes the cake. Two torn quad tendons while walking. Michael, we wish you well here from the family at ITG. Smooth segue into Brett Bielema, who seems like a guy who would tear two quad tendons walking, if ever there were a candidate to do so. So Big Ten Media Days came and went last week, and yes, it was open season on the SEC. A lot of coaches talking smack. The commissioner, Tony Petitti, talking some smack, reminding everybody that the Big Ten has won 3 straight titles. And Bielema chimed in when asked about, yeah, but you don't play as tough a schedule as the SEC teams do. He basically said, yeah, I got receipts, and put up a tweet, which we may or may not see, but that's all right. It's the wins over Carolina and Tennessee in bowl games. But you look at Brett Bielema's winning percentage in the SEC. Like, I'm all for having some fun, a little trash talk, little whatever. But the fact of the matter is, Brett Bielema, who I like, but if you're gonna dish it out, like, his time in the SEC was not exactly a rip-roaring success. Arkansas was 3-9, 7-6, 8-5, 7-6, 4-8. In the SEC, a combined 11-29. So if anybody knows about the strength of schedule in the Southeastern Conference, it is Brett Bielema. 11-29 even at Arkansas. It ain't real good. Just figured I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Do you have
Michael's
anything
legs
in this?
again? Not Brett Bielema's legs. Those are Michael's. And that's what he tweeted out. He reminded everybody, hey, we won Citrus and the Music City. Look, yeah, he's got a right to brag about that. That's fine.
I remember he beat South Carolina without their offensive coordinator, without their running back. Good game.
The stat that I think he's about to get into is just infuriating to me. Like, who cares what your postseason record is if you're not in the playoff? Like, this is here. You want to know what? Put your money where your mouth is, Brett. Schedule an SEC team inside the season, and then we'll talk.
Speaking of which, how about the Big Ten versus the SEC? Oh, look at that. Smooth. Mad Dog on point. Power of the stash. Respected. So this is the last 3 years. Look, last year, everybody remembers what Indiana did to Alabama. We can't see number 10, but 10 is Indiana 1-0. That 1-1 win was a beatdown of a less than stellar Alabama team. That's okay, Phil. We got the other 9, which is good enough.
It's there.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. So Indiana got its 1 win. Again, Bielema's 2-0, and not afraid to tell you about it. UCLA 0-1, Southern Cal 2-0, Wisconsin's 0-3. Wisconsin, give them credit. They always have the stones to play the SEC in a Week 1 kickoff classic type matchup, or even a Week 3 game against somebody. The problem is they keep losing those games. They're 0-3. Michigan is 2-3. Iowa's 1-2. Penn State 0-1. Maryland 1-0, and Ohio State 3-1. All told, that's 12-11. I don't know if I'd be bragging so heavily about being 1 game over 500 against the SEC in head-to-head competition, which includes regular season, bowl games, and of course the college football playoff. I just thought that was interesting because if you heard the media days, you would have thought the Big Ten is just ragdolling the SEC in every situation. That's not the case. 12-11, 1 game over 500.
And look, man, anybody that uses bowl games is intellectually dishonest in this era. Once upon a time, yeah. But man, you got a 30-day layoff. Double-digit guys are missing because they opt out now. Thanks, Leonard Fournette and national media. I mean, who cares? I mean, I don't think bowl games at all mean anything. It's a fun talking point, but I mean, a lot of times in college football, it comes down to who wants it a little more. And Illinois, in both of those games, came in playing like their hair was on fire, like it was the Super Bowl, running tricky substitution things against both teams. And you know how South Carolina, obviously, I think was ready to play against in the Citrus Bowl. How excited was Tennessee to be in the Music City? Come on, man.
Not very.
That's
not very.
Did any of you read Chris Lowe's article yesterday? The On 3 article?
No.
What did,
I missed it.
The worst records of the last 5 years of teams who are the teams who had the worst records against other teams who finished in the top 25 in the last 5 years. There are 8 Big Ten teams on the list with a combined record of 7-125 versus programs that finished the season in the top 25. 8. I mean, come on, man. Come on. For what it's worth, by the way, Illinois does have Missouri on future schedule.
Yeah, I mean, good for Brett for scheduling that. And Ohio State's record is legit now. I mean, everybody remembers Tennessee goes to Columbus in the playoff a couple of years ago. They take their shirts off, like, hey, cold doesn't bother us. And they got smoked by Ohio State 31-17. Ohio State lost to Georgia by 1 point in that memorable Peach Bowl. Georgia team that won the title in 2022. 42-41 was the final there. Urban Meyer's team beat Alabama and are out to a championship in 2014, 42. Ohio State is essentially an SEC elite team.
They played Texas last year. They go to Texas.
Exactly. And they have a bunch of players, not just a bunch of like thick ankle dudes from Wisconsin They recruit heavily in Florida. They recruit heavily nationally. Ohio State's a different deal.
Well,
Ohio State is like an SEC team.
Do you believe if you're the cream of the crop in your conference, so Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, now Indiana, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, LSU in the SEC, et cetera, do you believe if you are that type of program that you should be scheduling those type of programs from other leagues annually?
Yes, and I wish it were the case, but I think you're seeing what my fear was from the moment the SEC went to 9, which is that most of the programs are completely using that as an excuse to schedule another cupcake and get rid of great interconference matchups.
Well, they have to schedule
their
one.
hand is forced.
They have to schedule one.
They have to schedule one Power 4, but you could still tilt the scale if you schedule the right Power 4, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
come on down, Kansas.
Okay,
exactly.
All right. So Georgia's the
exception to all of this.
Georgia through 20. I know, but just Georgia through 2032. Now they play Georgia Tech annually, so I get it.
Right.
That's 7, but through 2032, including this year, 7 seasons, they play 13 non-conference Power 4 programs. Okay,
and a lot of good ones too. Not bottom of the barrel ones.
Well, they've got Clemson, they've got Florida State, they've got Ohio State, they've got Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we heard Coach Signetti the other day, complaining about the league is up already.
They have an embarrassing schedule.
They don't play one through 2032.
No.
Not one Power 4 team through 2032.
They had Notre Dame. When in our world do we ever see when Indiana cancels a series with Notre Dame that Notre Dame's like, man, that hurts our strength of schedule? Wow, who saw that coming out?
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
No, it's what they do is embarrassing, but I mean, they obviously didn't affect them last year when they answered the call. I mean, they beat.
Well, I know, but
many of the best teams in the country.
Again, going back to what Mike and I talked about an hour ago, two things can be true at the same time. Like, no, it didn't affect them. Yes, they were the best team in college football. I got no problem with that. It is what it is. But you can't sit there and throw stones across the aisle at the other league and then expect people to not fire back. Be like, well, no, wait a second here.
They're pissed off because half the. All right, so riddle me this, Batman. If you talk to 10 coaches, 5 will say one and 5 will say the other. Would you rather have, with no scrimmages in college football, no preseason games, nothing, would you rather have 3 cupcakes before you start conference play, kind of like they do in the high school ranks, right? To ease into it. Okay, well, we got trial and error here. Or is it such a great advantage in November to play a rest up game before your rivalry game? They act like playing Wofford before Clemson is some huge advantage for the SEC. It's intellectually dishonest because most coaches will tell you, give me the 3 cupcakes at the beginning of the year because I don't know what the hell I've got, especially now with the transfer portal. I haven't seen my players play against anybody. Okay. And every Big Ten school, with few exceptions, Ohio State and Michigan will play, every now and then. Start off with schedules, 3 games similar to Big Ten football. Look at the games CBS has had to televise early in the season.
Yeah,
they literally went to Kent State. Kent State was like CBS or NBC1 game of the week. Kent State was big noon kickoff, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so that's what they do, and I just think that they are intellectually dishonest in that conference, and they've hoodwinked the SEC into falling for their crafty little complaints, probably because the school presidents run everything, and they're a bunch of academic morons who think that these schools in the Big Ten are some bastion of superior knowledge because of the academic side. And so they're like, oh, well, we better do this. I mean, it's a bunch of foolishness is what it is. But I don't want to I want to continue with the JT Kias right around the SEC.
No,
Makes me feel less passionate.
I like the contribution. And
one more thing.
Yeah.
Michigan is not Ohio State. Let's just be clear about that.
No.
Indiana was a freak, but Michigan lucked out. Think about this. Michigan in 2022 ran into who? A team with athletes. That's would be called TCU, and they beat them, right? And then TCU got sacrificed at the altar of Georgia. The next year, Michigan had to go to overtime to beat a pretty not Nick Saban's best team at Alabama, right? Had to go to overtime in the Rose Bowl, and if it hadn't been for Milroe boneheadedly running the ball at the middle, they may have lost to Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Then they lucked out and got Washington, who upset Texas in the championship game. Where was the gauntlet that, they beat Alabama, but they almost didn't. And the year before, they lost it. So, I mean, Ohio State, you're absolutely right, Mike. It's Ohio State, and then
there's a drop off.
The rest of them, athletically, and all this crap about, I don't know. Okay, sorry.
Well, and it's intellectually dishonest for Big Ten schools to for years brag about their non-con when they just beat up on the MAC the entire month of September. It's the Big Ten MAC Invitational. Let's see if we can play Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, and Akron back to back to back before we play our 9 conference games.
It's the Mark Stoops schedule of. Yeah, Mark Stoops is smart.
Mark's the one guy in the SEC said, I've got nothing to prove in my non-con.
He took a Big Ten plan into Kentucky. He's like, I'm going to schedule like crap, and I'm going to recruit Ohio. And it paid off.
And it paid off for him. It was working really well until it wasn't working. So, the fans didn't like it, and they complained about it. And I'm paying this much for season tickets. Yeah, but you're getting dubs against Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan and Akron and the whole 9 yards. You will not sleep on Miami of Ohio. It is interesting because for Carolina this year, remember there's only one bye. I hope this is the last year we have only one bye in college football. And the only reason they did it is because of the calendar. It has nothing to do with like some big committee said we only need one bye. It'll be back to 2 next year. But with Georgia now in that old SoCon hole right before Clemson, you've got Tennessee at Oklahoma, A&M at Arkansas, Georgia, Clemson. No byes. Back to back to back to back to back to back. No bye weeks. That's going to test your might right there.
Well, it's a good thing we're not in the strongest football conference in America.
Yeah, exactly. Depth? I don't see no stinking depth.
No.
So I have stayed away from this whole thing going on in Congress and everything else. I know it's tedious. I know people are tired of hearing about it. But it is worth mentioning the SEC and the Big Ten are finally aligned on it. And there is going to be apparently a vote on it in the Senate as soon as this week. Again, there's a number of things in here. The 5-year eligibility, increasing hard caps rev share spending at more than $40 million with $22.5 for roster retention. As we know, nobody is abiding by the $20.5 million, whatever it is, so-called salary cap. Everybody is brazenly going through people like Learfield to launder the money and get more money where you have LSU and others having like a $40 million payroll. They're trying to cut through the loopholes. Prohibit coaches leaving before a season ends, aka the Lane Kiffin rule. Here's the one that I think is the most interesting of all. Limiting conferences to 19 members. Now, the Big Ten has 18. Anybody want to take a guess who the 19th slot could be reserved for? JC, you're right there.
The Fighting Irish of
the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Yeah, I mean they're not holding that spot for Florida State. They're not holding that spot for Virginia or North Carolina. What they want and they think they can possibly persuade, and I'll die thinking Notre Dame will never leave its independence. But that's what they're betting on for number 19. And if they miss, then maybe they can pluck somebody from the ACC. But here it is. The SEC is sitting on 16. So we're right back to now it's a 19-team cap. if this thing goes through. So who are the 2 or 3 that get in?
West Virginia.
God, I wish.
I know.
They belong.
That would make too much sense.
They belong.
They belong.
It would be. I mean, it's the ACC is where they're going, and it's a handful of teams. I don't know about West Virginia, maybe not, but you've got obviously Clemson is on the radar, North Carolina, Duke are on the radar. I'm assuming NC State would be in the mix somehow because NC State is going to be looking, going, wait a second here, you're going to take those 2 brands and not us? Well, you're not the same brand that Duke and North Carolina are because this is more than just football.
I think West Virginia, just from a geographical, they have no prayer. I just don't see it. I'm with you. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the old Mountaineers in the SEC and think of some of those matchups in Morgantown. It'd be great. I don't think they're in the fold, but the question is, let's say they went to 18. You ever played musical chairs when you were a kid? Music plays, you go around and around. There's like 4 people, 3 chairs. 3 people, 2 chairs. Is Clemson going round and round and round, and there's the last chair, and you are outside looking in, and you're now in a depleted ACC, and you're already losing your prestige, and you're watching, let's just say, Virginia, North Carolina, or North Carolina and Florida State, or whatever, and you're Clemson, and you don't make the cut. I guarantee you that's being discussed somewhere in the upstate right now in a smoke-filled room or vape-filled room with administrators. Like, we can't let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think North Carolina is target number 1 regardless.
I agree.
This actually, North Carolina would be attracted to the Big Ten too. And I used to think that's where they were going. But 2023, I've kind of did a symposium with a member of their athletic administration, and he kind of even let it slip when he was talking about the SEC and everything out of Chapel Hill is that's probably where they're going. Now, with this cap, you can only add 3. What this does too is if the Big Ten is going to wait on Notre Dame, the SEC can have anybody they want because there's no competition. Every school in every other league is going to line up for the SEC because there's not a spot in the Big Ten. Florida State, from what I've heard, pissed everybody off.
Yeah,
I don't think they're getting a seat at the table. Lawsuit, the arrogant. Just how they acted. What I heard a couple of weeks ago is Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, Miami, if they expanded by 4. Now, 3. I know Miami's pushing to get into the Big Ten or one of those leagues. I think everybody would be pushing. I'll tell you who I would go: North Carolina, Virginia, and Kansas. They all fit. They're all the University of ... state. They're in contiguous states. North Carolina, Virginia have a combined population of 20 million. Kansas brings a lot to the table basketball wise. It doesn't piss your football coaches off. Neither does North Carolina, Virginia, but I think those 3 schools would fit. Is that going to be what it is? Probably not. The further we get away from the glory days of Clemson football, I think the less attractive they are, because we used to think of this in terms of cable boxes and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, because of
anymore.
Streaming and cord cutting, it's more about brand.
Yep.
And ratings, and Clemson still draws. Clemson's still known.
Clemson draw. Hey, look, I'm not being a jerk to Clemson here because a Clemson fan that's not what I'm saying at all. It's no different for South Carolina. Clemson is the much more successful football program. Clemson draws when Clemson's good. When they're not good, you don't have the nation lining up to watch Clemson football. That is not the case with so many other programs. Now, you can make the argument that it's not the case with a lot of those other teams you just mentioned as well, JC. I don't know that North Carolina's can't miss football when they suck. Okay, I got it. But they bring the North Carolina basketball brand with them, to your point.
Yeah, North Carolina is a
That-
very
yeah.
strong brand. I mean,
There's
you know,
nothing offsetting that for Clemson.
No, honestly, and I'm not being a jerk here either, and I don't even laugh about it. People in Chicago don't know where they know they know Clemson. They don't know it's in South Carolina.
Yeah. Like if it's specific to brand, all of the teams that y'all just mentioned, it's North Carolina because of basketball, it's Miami because of football.
Miami and North Carolina would make a lot of sense. It would also give the SEC another private school. And I'm going to say this too. The state of Indiana is contiguous to the SEC.
Kentucky. Yeah.
Correct, sir. And yeah, Kentucky. So Sankey, look, I mean, and if you're Notre Dame, there's a long history between Notre Dame and the Big Ten. Notre Dame's a powerhouse in football because Michigan wanted to kill their football program, refused to play them. So that's why they got on trains and played everybody. It's toughest schedule. You want to get back to playing the toughest schedule in America because you're Notre Dame? Join the SEC.
Do they want that?
I doubt it.
No.
I mean,
No.
They,
what I'm saying.
They just now have a roster that could really compete in the SEC.
Notre Dame thinks like Mickey and Rocky 3. If you remember, after Rocky won the belt in Rocky 2, Rocky thought that he was a great fighter because he's beating all these tomato cans, but they were handpicked by Mickey. And so then all of a sudden Clubber Lang comes along and beats the crap out of Rocky, and Rocky's losing his confidence, and Mickey says, look, man, I was just looking out for you. This guy's different. You haven't been hungry since you won that belt. So yes, I set you up with the tomato cans. Mickey is Notre Dame's corner man. I'm declaring it right now. If you know the Rocky series and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you don't, please just excuse the entire analogy.
I wanted you to fight those tomato cans, kid.
I was looking
you
out
haven't
for
been
you,
hungry
kid.
since you won the second title bout.
I've been hungry since I won that belt. Come on, kid. We don't need this. I need it, Nick. That's what that is. Notre Dame is Rocky being led by Mickey saying, we don't need it. We could just beat a bunch of tomato cans and still maintain the belt.
Well, yeah.
See, I have a feeling there's going to be a push from SEC presidents if there is expansion by 3 more teams to pick up Louisville, Georgia Tech, and Clemson. That way, the interconference matchups are now conference matchups. They don't ding you on your 9 games. It's automatically included. You slate them in. You put them as, air quotes, permanent opponents, current, rival.
That makes too
teams.
much sense. That's what they should do.
Then you have Florida State. Yeah.
But they'll never do it.
But it won't happen.
Florida State
they
might
can
be,
kick
yeah.
somebody out and add the 4 rivals.
Oh, well,
But
kick
why
out Missouri.
19?
Kick out. They
That's
kick Vanderbilt out.
He kicked Missouri out. I
Oh,
like
Missouri.
Vanderbilt.
I forgot everybody.
Yeah, you get rid of Missouri. Nobody wants
They ain't going anywhere.
Missouri go back to the Big 12, man.
That maybe if somebody over at the Big 12 could negotiate a really good deal on media rights, and they could attract them away back to where they belong. But that's what I worry about, is that the presidents are going to get involved on some level, saying, hey, listen, especially if these decisions are made in a declining economy with rising inflation and all these other outside of football, outside of sports factors that go into that, because their jobs are a lot bigger than just picking this, and this. So I think there would be some undue influence there to actually look inside the current borders without expanding so much. And there might be a push. There could be a great compromise in there too.
That's what happened with the ACC expanded.
Mhm.
Virginia Tech got in the first. They ended up adding Syracuse anyway, but
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there were an outlier there. I mean, North Carolina being the one that I would have my eye on the most, like we've said, brand, this, that, it just makes
I've always heard Duke. This is way before all this happened. That Duke, the SEC would consider taking Duke, if it meant they could get North Carolina. That was a long time ago, though, when North Carolina's kind of like Texas. They're like, we're never leaving because we run this joint. And then next thing you know, hey, what's going on?
What's the difference between 19 and 20, really?
I thought the number was odd. It was almost like the SEC said 18 and the Big Ten said, well, we got to leave a spot for Notre Dame. We'll go 19.
Yeah, right.
All these weird numbers because of the dishonest conference next to the Foga Chow. We have 9 conference games, which makes no sense. We have 19 teams, which makes no sense. I thought y'all were smart.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You're just greedy.
It's just ridiculous.
All right. Are we tight on time, Jamie? I'm assuming we are. I've got one thing I could go to, but I'm afraid it'll ignite. All right. I do not endorse or support this ranking. I think it's flawed. Mad Dog. This is from CBS Sports. These are the most elusive quarterbacks in college football in order.
In order.
Yeah, this is 1 to 10. I didn't number them. Sorry, I was doing 11.
I have been not I don't know. Well, maybe surprised. I'm not so sure, but there has been lately a lot of conversation about Camario Taylor and his ability to run that offense at Mississippi State. That's going to be quite the storyline over the next month before they get to town.
Yeah, people are bullish. Let me give a little context to this, because I maintain if this were a true like combine type thing, Lenore Sellers, if not number 1, is right there. He certainly isn't out of the top 5. They rank this. The writer is Cody Nagel.
Oh God. Okay, never mind.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I don't even know.
All right. It's just talking season. He says this is not simply a list of the best rushing quarterbacks. It's about finding the right balance between being dangerous with your legs and difficult to bring down. To identify that group, we looked at 5 key metrics. Sack avoidance rate, tackles avoided per rush, yards after contact per rush, explosive rush rate, and yards per scramble. Now,
I would think Sellers is like top. Sellers is definitely top in the country or top 2. And
do you know who number 1 is in sack avoidance rate? That would be Lenore Sellers by 10.
Yeah, it's very high.
I think
let me tell you what they say about Lenore's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I don't
under Lenore's. It says they're. It doesn't. I get it. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not worth getting upset over. It's not worth blowing a head gasket over. I really like the list. To me, was more interesting because of the other names on it that we're not as familiar with.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I watched a bunch of Maryland football last year. I know about Malik Washington. I've seen highlights of Malik Washington. Apparently, he finished last year with a 94% sack avoidance rate, which was the second best among qualified quarterbacks. So that's what helped put him at the top. You know, Camario Taylor, he faced pressure on 46% of his dropbacks last season, the second highest among FBS quarterbacks. And he scrambled on 19% of those plays. Again, this is a lot of gobbledygook. I was surprised to see Sam Levitt that high. Sam Levitt can run, but I didn't think he'd be number 3. Arch Manning can run. And what they say about Arch is, of the 570 FBS quarterbacks since 2018 with at least 50 career rushes and 100 dropbacks, he ranks 8th in yards per scramble and 12th in explosive rush rate. All right, now let me tell you what it says about Lenore's. There may not be a more physically imposing quarterback in college football than Lenore Sellers. Cosign. The 6'3", 240-pound redshirt junior generated off-season Heisman Trophy buzz last summer, but was far too inconsistent. That doesn't mean his elusiveness was any less impressive. Rarely does the first defender bring him down. He's essentially a linebacker with the ball in his hands. Among the quarterbacks in his exercise, he ranks 3rd in yards after contact per rush and 9th in tackles avoided per rush. The challenge for Carolina's revamped offensive staff will be finding ways to maximize that rare physical ability while helping him become a more consistent passer. Kind of the same stuff we've heard along several lines.
He used numbers, and it looks like he used numbers and data to back up his choices, except for Lenoris. He just said what everybody else is saying, which doesn't surprise me. Colton Joseph, he could save Luke Fickell's job. Write that down.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I admit I didn't see a whole lot.
He's an
of
Old
him at,
Dominion quarterback last year.
Yeah.
He's like, if they use him the right way, he'll be dangerous. Wisconsin fans will be happy.
Damon Williams is legit at Washington. I've seen enough of him to co-sign on that. I had Bryce under. I mean, Bryce is underwhelming as a passer. Now, he can run like all get out, but I didn't see enough of him throwing. But again, this is just elusive. This is not rating quarterbacks. This is just yes, he's elusive. Devin Dampier, definitely elusive. Arch Manning, we talked about it. Levitt, a little surprising to me at 3. And Kamario Taylor is such a small sample size. Like, to put him number 2, how many meaningful snaps did Kamario Taylor have last year?
He played the whole Ole Miss game. I was impressed with him in that game.
Yeah.
I was impressed with him against Texas.
Yeah, but you're talking about the entire season. Which
the entire season.
Which wasn't much.
So if we're comparing bodies of work, I mean, Kamario Taylor is a fraction of a sample size than just about every guy on this list, with the exception of, say, a Bryce Underwood. So anyway, it's just a discussion point. It doesn't mean a ton, but I anything that has like some other guys, just kind of see where they're ranked. I am fascinated by Kamario Taylor. There's so much hype on him right now. Carolina could go ahead and squelch that in week 3.
Yeah.
If they put a beat down on Mississippi State, which I think is more than possible, the Kamario Taylor hype could immediately, the wind out of that balloon, or the air out of the balloon, could drastically diminish. That's all I'm saying. That does it for the JT's Kia Drive around the SEC.
All right. It is 11:44. We need to step aside for our final TO of the morning show. When we return, the SEC Network Prime Time Trio is no more. We'll tell you who it is next.
If you own a home, don't wait on these home safety tips. Flush your water heater, clean your dryer vent, and inspect your roof annually. Don't forget to check washer hoses and caulk in wet areas. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com.
A really common fear in a workman's compensation case is what's going to happen to my job if I report this injury. And my answer to that is you still need to report your injury. I'm dealing directly with the insurance company, and the insurance company is going to treat you like a file member. So let me make sure that doesn't happen to you. Let me get involved in your workman's compensation case.
Ryan Brewer Fence offers a variety of services ranging from fences and railings to columns. Our craftsmanship, experience, and service is second to none. Visit ryanbrewer.net today.
Andy, why are you burning all that money? Because if you're buying a Honda or Toyota, that's exactly what you're doing. Look at the new Kia K4. It's $2,000 less than the Civic, and Honda only has a 5-year warranty. JT's Kia has a 1,000,000-mile warranty.
Don't forget JT's Advantage Package. Oil changes, roadside assistance, and so much more. Why burn money?
I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard. We're serious about saving you money.
JT's Kia.
Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event.
Is this your golf game? It doesn't have to be. Visit McKellarEnterprises.org and improve your game today.
Do you carry? Carry responsibly with us. What could you lose from a self-defense act? Visit ProtectWithBear.com to find out more. ProtectWithBear.com.
This is Inside the Gamecocks, part of the Chief Sports Network. It's time for Carolina football, presented by Palm Casual Outdoor Patio Furniture.
find the solace of all we've become. I can't wait to make the promises that I believe of. Take me down, let me see how I'll be there in the morning when times have changed. I'll be there through the lies and all. I'll be standing like your soldiers and you told. Through the days when I need to be alone, I will wait for you through the rise and fall. I'll be there in the morning when times have changed. I will wait for you through the rise and fall.
All right, final segment. It is Tuesday, August the 4th, powered by our friends at Electric Bikes of Charleston. There's a chance, as there always is, and it happens every year, that South Carolina plays at night on the SEC network. And generally when that happens, that means that Tom Hart and Jordan Rogers and Cole Kubelik are in town. That will not be the case moving forward. Cole Kubelik and Tom Hart and Jordan Rogers are not together anymore, as Rogers moves into the Friday primetime role with Mike Monaco and Dana Boyle on the sidelines, and the new SEC Network primetime trio. These are all Mike's buddies, for anybody wondering. If you need an autograph, I'll give you Mike's phone number. Matt Schumacher is the new play-by-play guy on SEC Network primetime. Aaron Murray is in the booth with him. And Mike, I love this because I've talked to her before. I know you've helped her do a bunch of stuff in her media career. Taylor Davis will be on the sidelines on SEC Saturday nights on the SEC Network. So good for Taylor.
Big fan of Taylor. Happy for her. Happy for Aaron Murray, who I've done games with. I don't know Matt Schumacher much at all. He's a guy from Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher's grandson.
Oh, I know Joel.
That's a
just
joke,
kidding.
I think. Jordan Rogers' crew is Friday nights.
Correct. Yeah, Monaco and
So,
Boyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tom Hart's going to Friday nights and not going on Comedy Central?
Tom Hart is not going to Friday nights. Tom Hart will be on Saturdays with Roddy Jones and Quint Kesnich.
Where's
This has been kind of determined for a while, but those guys did it 9 years. As they've joked about, nobody knows Kentucky football better than the SEC Saturday night crew, because literally they
called
would do
every Kentucky Carolina game. As a matter of fact,
South Carolina Kentucky is probably the most prominent SEC network Saturday night matchup in the history of mankind.
It might be again this year, Mike.
Yeah, and Cole, I know, has always wanted to be an analyst, so I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Cole.
He's with Dave Neal.
Oh,
that'll be
is
good.
that what they did?
Yeah, Dave, Cole, and Tori Petrie. I don't know Tori, but Tori Petrie.
That's a strong group.
Yeah, I like
Dave still got it.
Dave, I know Dave. I love Dave Neal. Saw him in Columbia this year too.
Yeah, and Cole in the booth. Yes, please pour that into me.
I think I've always thought that Cole is just tremendous at what he does. Well, I think Jordan Rogers is tremendous too. So I'm a big fan of both those guys. Aaron Murray.
I'm happy for Aaron. I really am. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Bunch of SEC guys. Chase Daniels in there with Matt Berry on Thursday nights. So I don't see any other major changes here. Well, Katie George is taking over for my girl Molly, who's moving to the NFL.
Your girl Molly.
Yeah.
Does Mrs. Bradford know that she's your girl?
She doesn't listen to this show.
Well, I figured that.
Yeah.
Maybe she reads it on social media or something.
Nah,
the TikTok feed.
Do we have a TikTok feed?
I don't know.
We don't live stream to TikTok because, I don't know.
So Sean, Greg, and Katie. Yeah, there you go. 25, Mike. There's 25 broadcast teams with ESPN. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's about right.
Who is Jack Ford?
Nope, no idea.
Yeah. Not ringing any bells.
It's cousins with
Henry's
David
grandson.
Chevy.
That's Mr. and Mrs. Ford's son.
Henry's grandson.
It's Henry's grandson.
Travis's grandson.
Stinchcomb is back with Zarzer and Michaela. How does Zarzer call these games and then call the Panthers games?
Terribly.
Does he still call the Panthers games?
No, that's a niche.
Wrong.
Oh no, Zarzer's with the Titans.
Wrong screamer.
Titans, right?
I'm staying out of all of this conversation.
Yeah.
At this
That's right.
point. You just keep rattling off the teams, Jamie. Just go through the whole lineup. Let me know when you're done.
We work with On 3 here.
You just got to go through again. One word to describe each announcer.
You want to do the Fox crews too? How about the CW?
I don't have the Fox guys, but I did see that the CW. Who did they join as far as broadcast rights go? Was that Fox? Did they join in with Fox, or did they join?
I saw that on the schedule too. They have
you
a
see
graph
that?
now. Yes.
They've linked with somebody.
Well, they're
maybe it was ESPN. It might be part of the ESPN package now.
I think it is CW.
So you can stream the CW on the
I think
ESPN.
it's on the app.
That might be it. Well,
Wow,
is that
USA.
like? Are you? Is it just? It's got to just be the games. Like you can't stream the entire channel. Like you're not watching Gilmore Girls on the ESPN app.
Oh, well,
that's supernatural. No, it's just that. Yeah, I read that too. God, it was a while back, but the games are going to be on the ESPN Total or whatever the app is, plus whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
ESPN and the Mountain West.
The Mountain West is streaming on the ESPN app.
It's going to be I'm on the CW. I don't know about the app, but the Mountain West is going to feature more prominently on the CW.
Okay. Oh, so the ACC and the Mountain West both are on CW?
It does not say anything about the ACC. I wonder if they have.
Yeah, the ACC's got CW.
Oh yeah, look. Hey, listen. The CW is making some moves. They are now, Mountain West, ACC, Pac-12, and of course they are the Arizona Bowl.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, they are the new player.
Okay, all right. I didn't realize that.
That's right.
For what it's worth, and I'm glad you mentioned it, I'm excited for the Pac-12, this new Pac-12 that they have. Boise State, Colorado State, and I think it's neat. I'm curious to see how quickly some of these programs grow up.
I think the two ladies that run those two conferences have a little bit of a rivalry, and they probably should have. I think they made some real stupid moves. I mean, why? Look, there's no college presence on the West Coast. Okay. That people can identify with. You have an opportunity because of the growth in states like Idaho and places like that to build from the ground up if you consolidate. Instead, they had this big, measuring contest between each other and, gave UNLV a bunch of money to stay. And it just doesn't make any sense because you have some schools that are going to drag both leagues down. Because they needed Wyoming and New Mexico and Hawaii, the state supported schools that have a chance. Yeah, it's San Diego. Anyway, so I don't like it, but I do think, Jamie, with you to your point, that there's an opportunity out west if somebody would just use common sense. But
yeah,
there's no such thing. Seems like when you pass the Rockies,
it might end up being North Dakota State, boys. North Dakota State might end up being the guys.
But they also could be like not Coastal Carolina, App State and Georgia Southern that chased the Camellia Bowl, and now they, instead of winning national championships, they're just wishing and hoping and peeing in one hand and pooping in the other.
Yeah, I see no need to make that move whatsoever.
Why would you not want to play for a national champion? I mean,
because you're not.
You talked about the presidents earlier. They're chasing those dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I'm an App State fan, I'm like, God, we went from winning a national championship, winning at the end of the season, to, oh my God, can we beat Troy at home?
Well,
because I'd rather go to Montgomery than Boca Raton.
If you're a Big 12 school or a Big 10, because the Big 10's pretty much nationwide now, more closely aligned. Do you schedule North Dakota State? Do you take that
Hell
chance?
no.
Don't schedule them at all.
Hell no.
In fact, Coach Hatzel, I don't know if it was scheduled before he got there, but Dion played North Dakota State at Colorado. They beat him. They struggled and beat him by 3.
Nearly lost.
I know.
I was admirable.
Yeah. I don't know. If I'm North Dakota State, I take the deal, which they did take the deal for the weather alone. I mean, for God's sakes, they play in Vegas, New Mexico, Hawaii, and California from October through November. It's not bad compared to what they were having to play in.
Yeah, because they have an indoor stadium, but like South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, they do not.
They do not.
They do not.
You talk about cold.
That's cold.
Yeah,
that's Minnesota.
It's November 14th. Where are you boys headed? South Dakota State. How about y'all? Hawaii.
Oh, I call it the WAM, west of Minnesota cold. Because until you get like Montana's cold too, it's just pretty. The Dakotas are neither pretty nor anything but cold. Except Mount
Cold
Rushmore.
and miserable.
Fargo.
Any final thoughts?
Save money on a mortgage. Troy Branham, 803-238-0111. It's a final thought for me.
Phil, well, I guess you got another hour.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give my final thoughts yet because then I'd be lying, or intellectually dishonest. There's
Send
enough
it
of
to
that
the-
going around here lately.
Send
All right.
you to the Fogo de Chao near O'Hare Airport.
That's right. Yeah, might as well just put me in there.
Your fellow intellectually dishonest human beings.
How about a final trivia question? Do we
Oh,
want
okay.
a final trivia question before I get out of here?
Bring it. Want to play a game?
What is the furthest South Carolina has ever traveled to play college football?
Southern Cal.
Nope.
Nope.
Twice. They've done it twice.
Hold on,
JB.
JC. Give everybody a chance here,
Okay,
Mr. Know-It-All. Mad Dog.
Gosh, I have
That was my initial thought too, Mike, when I was asked this question and then it hit me, but
I feel like the answer
that's
to
about
this
3,000
question
miles,
comes
isn't it?
Like the 80s, right?
They play
yes,
Hawaii
and the
anytime
prior-
that I
there you
don't
go.
remember.
You got it. Twice.
I know they played Pacific, but I'm pretty sure that was a home game.
They played Hawaii in 77, and they
Okay.
played Hawaii in 81, and the
They got-
Rainbows beat them both.
They got just destroyed both times.
Yeah.
Pummeled.
Gosh, that was
Pummeled.
before Timmy Chang.
I mean, look, now, like,
Yeah.
imagine I was 4 years old.
Pre-Chang.
It was very much so pre-Chang.
Otherwise, I'd say they got changed.
I don't think Chang was born.
I was 4
I don't
years
know
old
if
at
Chang's
the
parents
time.
were born.
I'd imagine being a Carolina fan in 1981, right? So in 1981, Clemson wins the national championship, and it was a disappointing year for the Gamecocks. They finished like 6-5. But you know what? I'm kind of fired up that I get to take that Hawaii trip after the Clemson game.
Yeah.
And then they got beat like 33-13. And in
33-10.
77, they got destroyed too. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah, they were outscored 57-17 in those two games in Honolulu.
Wow.
And that is when you could take, if you played Hawaii at Hawaii, you could play the week after everybody plays their final game.
Play the 12th game.
Yeah, Miami did that too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck, I mean, I'd be all for that.
I know.
Dude,
I mean,
I'd be down.
you almost wonder. I mean, if you're a West Coast athlete, and I mean, I get it, I understand, but I'm saying it. Football, maybe I can understand why not football, but baseball or something like that. I'd go play in Hawaii. Like spend my 4 years.
Well, I remember when Dave Odom was the basketball coach, all the players and all the staff wanted to take part in Maui. And Dave said, nah, I'm going to Alaska.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Alaska was pretty freaking cool, even though
Yeah.
it was freezing and dark
Yeah.
for much of the trip. But Anchorage has a nightlife.
Yeah.
And it ain't Eskimos.
Well, what else are you going to do up there?
Exactly.
Hunt,
the women know
hunt
that.
Fish, but
there were some staff members that had a very good time in Anchorage.
Yeah, that was the other part of what I was asked. What's the furthest you've ever heard of a South Carolina program going anywhere? And I was like, well, I know the basketball team went to Anchorage because Mike Morgan called the games.
Yeah.
And then when it hit football, Southern Cal, and I said, they went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I don't know about any other athletics program going anywhere else.
Well, Eddie got him in Maui. Boger took him. Eddie was like,
that's right.
Alaska? No, we'll go to Maui.
Yeah.
Dawn travels the women pretty good here lately.
Oh, gosh.
Well, now, yeah.
Are you kidding?
Europe. But what's further, France or Hawaii? Probably Hawaii.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Hawaii, yeah.
Because it's a whole continent plus half an ocean, as opposed to just a whole ocean.
It'd be
You
different
can
if we were in
go
Nebraska.
Atlanta to Maui on a direct flight in about 10 hours.
Oh, that's not too shabby.
That's an actual flight. I would say France would be a little bit longer and farther.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to ease on out of here then. Appreciate Preston Thorne for joining us earlier. And we start our double dips tomorrow. David Cloninger, Chris Clark, both of them in tomorrow. Excited for that.
Thanks.
Rob will be here tomorrow. Full boat. Mike, thank you, sir.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
JC,
See you guys.
Phil,
Take care, guys.
best of luck to you.
Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions are your local home protection experts. Crawl space encapsulation, sump pump and drain installs, humidity control, duct cleaning, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and French drains. We do it all. Visit dryspacecs.com. dryspacecs.com. Go Gamecocks.
Is this your golf game? It doesn't have to be. Visit McKellarEnterprises.org and improve your game today.
Test ride at Electric Bikes of Charleston today. Road trip ready. Ride comfortably. Forget road fatigue. The Velotric Fold 1 Plus features our exclusive Comfort Max frame design for an effortless, upright riding posture and a low step through. With an adjustable seat and stem, you'll be feeling great and ready for the next campsite adventure. Your back will thank you. Visit Electric Bikes of Charleston. ElectricBikesCharleston.com.
Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage can help you save big today anywhere in South Carolina. Over 27 years experience. Visit ggmortgage.com. Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage says go Gamecocks.
New year, better floors. Now is the time. Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution. Beautiful like new floors in just one day. No dust, affordable, and 5 stars. Give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365. Or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
Jeffrey's got space and a touchdown. Can you believe it? Touchdown! He caught it. Traffic scores. Touchdown, South Carolina.
Clowns are people too. Clowns are people too. Now I own some tiny horns and got me those red shoes. I don't know much, but know one thing that's true. If you don't know anything, just know that clowns are people too.
Now back to the clowns on the Chief Sports Network.
Well, welcome in, everybody. It is Inside the Gamecocks, the show portion of our live super stream. Today, it is terrible Tuesday, JC. Mad Dog Mullinax here. JC Sherbert over there. Sorry, I got caught up in the chat box a little early here while I was opening things up.
Oh.
Yeah, keeping the Pacific Northwest in our prayers as fire season has been very bad, according to man. 700
Yeah, I've
homes
read that.
lost. Air quality's awful. Yeah, it's just yeah, that stinks.
I've actually thought about you when I saw that X. Sorry about that, man. So yeah, thoughts and prayers for everyone up there. It's a beautiful part of the country. Been there many times. I actually dig it. It's a good place to go in the summer too, but it's pretty bad. This is Inside the Gamecocks, the show. I'm JC Sherbert. That's Phil Mad Dog Mullinax. We're here today for the next 52 minutes, and going to be talking Gamecock football. I was thinking about that Mississippi State game coming up, and then I kind of did a little quick research. South Carolina's not lost to them since 1998 at Williams-Brice Stadium. And then all the games after the Eric Kimry fade game in 2000, Dave Neal was on that call, by the way. The Gamecocks have not scored less than 34 points against them each time out, including 37 last time. 34-10 in 02, 38-21 in 07, 34-16 in 2012, and then 37-30 was the closest one a couple of years ago. That 37-30 game was interesting. I never really felt like, Phil, that the Gamecocks were in danger of losing that one. Mississippi State just sort of hung in there in a shootout.
Yeah.
This is a different animal that's coming in. Jeff Lebby's Mississippi State's a lot different than Zach Arnett's Mississippi State. Although Zach Arnett's Mississippi State, Zach Arnett's the defensive coordinator again there now. So, which is very weird. But
an odd move that is actually, becoming more popular in college football.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just, hey, why don't, it's like we got tonight. Who needs tomorrow?
That's right. It'd be like if Clayton White moved on after a really good season to go take the NC State job after Dave Doran doesn't hit his, 7 wins. And Will Muschamp comes back as the
DC.
Which I would, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it.
I'm not me neither, really. Just to be honest. I don't know. He still got his lake house,
yeah.
That would be. I think one day somebody's going to write a book about Will Muschamp's career, and because it's just fat. It's from the Gamecock perspective, obviously those years things did not work out. It was, and I liked the hire at the time, and I still think he did a lot of good things and all that good stuff. But a lot of people are just downright angry about it. I understand why it wasn't a popular hire because, it's kind of impressed in it. Like, this guy, got fired at Florida, in your mind, you're like, well, it should be easier to win there. And then Carolina hires him, and a lot of the same stuff happened. He did score more points at South Carolina on offense, like he said he was, but but he left some players here. There were some massive holes at certain spots, but then there's especially quarterback. But then there were some other spots that were, Shane Beamer benefited from. He got the long building built, and all that good stuff. But some people get really, really upset when you start talking about him, and I don't understand it because he just didn't win. He didn't do anything afterward. He still pulls for his players, still is fond of his time here, and all that good stuff. Sometimes that happens, but sometimes they leave like other coaches have and try to torch the place on the way out.
Yeah, try to
harm
the program, right? He did not do that.
But he's also the only coach to lose a game to Mississippi State since Brad Scott. Unfortunately. Right. Now I'll say this. The game, that team, that 2016 team went down there, and it was a little bit of fool's gold, Phil, because it was a situation where South Alabama, for some reason, came to Starkville the week before opening weekend. And and beat Mississippi State in Starkville. And then Carolina had, on that Thursday night, had opened the Muschamp era with a win at Vandy. Surprisingly enough, so everybody's like, they're fired up. Carolina hadn't lost to Mississippi State in a while, anywhere. And I remember, we can ask Perry Orth when he gets back on the show regularly. The first play of the game, they dial up a shot play. And I think it went right off Debo's hands or something. It was one of those plays where probably, it had a chance, but they didn't connect, which is what happens sometimes. And boy, it's all downhill from there because Mississippi State was better than losing to South Alabama at home, and South Carolina was not as good at the time as beating Vandy on the road. They got better when Jake came in and when Rico Dowdle got healthy and all that in 2016. But so that's the only loss. It was 27-14. I remember Brandon McElwain got in the game, and then Brandon McElwain started the next week at quarterback. So
yeah, that's true. Yep.
Very, very interesting ball game down there. But that's the only time they've lost to the Bulldogs since 1999. I'm sorry, Lou Holtz lost to Mississippi State as well. I messed that up because he went to start. They went. Nobody's lost at home to Mississippi State since Brad Scott.
Yeah, at home. Yes.
Lou Holtz lost in 99 in Starkville, but so he's the only. All right, so he's the only coach to lose to Mississippi State this century.
Yeah, there you go.
At South Carolina. So just an update from X-Man in the Pacific Northwest. He's fortunate because I live in the city, so not a likely chance he'll lose his home. But the smoke sucks, especially when you're outside a lot for work. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You take it easy, dude, and all that. So, sorry for the yawn there.
The thing that I find interesting about this year's Mississippi State game is the whole Jeff Levy, Kendall Briles fan connection, right? Like, how much of is that an advantage, disadvantage to either team?
It's the same.
Yeah, you would think it would be, right?
It's the same offense. And then they got a quarterback that's probably going to play similarly to Lenoris.
Right. Yeah.
By the way, this dude, Brooks Austin, the film guy on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell everybody, we need to see if we can get him on the show, Phil.
Brooks Austin? All
Brooks Austin, the film guy. He broke down. So he went through the Lenore Sellers A&M tape, right? The first half, because Lenore's best half of football. This guy knows what he's talking about. Like, he's specific, but explains it in a way that if you're not a coach, you understand. And I like guys like that. There's not a lot of big words. It's just like here. It's actually quite fun and interesting. You just don't realize until you watch that stuff and maybe and have somebody kind of slow it down for you. Like Vandrevius Jacobs caught that touchdown right early in the game. Mm-hmm. So you'd think, he played a pretty good game. He did not.
No.
And there was a pass to Jordan Dingle in the first half. Jordan Dingle may have scored if Vandrevius Jacobs tries to make a block at all.
Mm.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad. And then another time he had an egregious drop. They constantly were getting lined up wrong. It was interesting. It kind of shows you like there's a lot of big things. Like, we see the big things that happen, but what it makes you realize is there's a lot of little things that add up that speak to coaching and players understanding the coaching. Then he went through Arkansas against Ole Miss in 2021 and proceeded to show why Kendall Briles is a very good play caller and blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
In other words, he talked about how Kendall would, run something and see that it was there and then come back to it 9 plays later. But, it was an option. What it was an option pitch with KJ Jefferson. Hey, KJ Jefferson, this is another reason why I've said one of the most important things for Lenore's to do, master the reads in the RPO game. I don't know. I don't know that Lenore Sellers was the best at when they did run some RPOs under Shula. Or I know Loggins ran some like straight up triple option stuff. And I don't know that he's ever mastered that because I don't know that's ever been a huge part of the offense. It seems like It's just one of those things that's just, that you do some of the time. This system obviously should be better, and they're going to do what Lenoris is comfortable with. But like Arkansas, they put 51 points against Ole Miss, right? 51. And Arkansas, like he goes through the plays in the first half, and the first 3 plays of the football game, Arkansas I think gets 40 yards. KJ Jefferson makes the wrong read every single time. Horrible read. But you know what happened? So he missed an option pitch to their back, and the back would have still been, he'd have ran all the way back to Fayetteville if he'd made the pitch. Instead, he kept it and got a 2 or 3 yard gain. I'm telling you this right now. If Lenoris can master that, then it's gonna, you got something cooking. But then, so what made it smart and what made it resonate, and Brooks explained this, is Kendall Briles recognized that it was there, okay, and goes back to, where have we heard, why didn't you go back to the play before all year last year, right? Well, that worked. Why didn't you do it again? That's an NFL thing too, because they in the NFL, you may not go back to something,
right?
Because you're assuming, the other team's got the same dudes you do, the same athletes you do, and they got good coaches, and they're just going to adjust. They're going to take that away. It's a cat and mouse game. Whereas in college, they don't always adjust. And if you've got some weak leaks you can exploit those all day. They don't have, there's different personnel levels and stuff. Anyway,
going, yeah, right.
So he went back to the option pitch, and he pitched it this time. It was a 40-yard run. Kendall also dialed up back-to-back play, the same play back-to-back, a shot play down the sidelines to Treylon Burks, just a kind of a jump ball 9 route. And it gained 40 yards. Burks made a crazy catch. And Brooks mentioned, too, that he probably wouldn't do that with Nick Harbor. I wouldn't either. It would be like more of a Jaden Gibson guy, or maybe Malik Clark, and maybe even Donovan Murph, in my opinion, could do things like that. Nick's a different kind of 6'5" receiver. But so Burks goes up, makes this crazy catch, and everybody's going crazy and all that. He dials up the exact same play in the next play, and it's 70 yards in 2 plays, exact same play. And doesn't let the defense substitute, just right on up there.
Yep.
And so his point was, he's like, I got off the Lenore Sellers bandwagon last year. He's like, I'm back on it because of Kendall Briles.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was reassuring, because I think sometimes, for whatever reason, you have some media people that they just ignore what Briles has done. They don't really do the research and all that, and they don't really think about it. And I would imagine if they know football at all and they're neutral at all in their opinions, that they would say, well, Lenore Sellers at his best has been better than every quarterback Kendall Briles has coached. And yet look at the production. And it hadn't always been at places where you've got a bunch of 5-star talent running around. It's not like he went to Alabama or Georgia,
right,
and dialed it all up. Even Tennessee, sometimes has personnel advantages. And so, but nobody talks about that. So it was good to hear somebody that actually watches film and all that. And he was critical of a lot of things, in South Carolina. It wasn't like he was just like, la, 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 welcome to the land of Kendall Briles.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I enjoyed that, and that kind of gives me some hope, and it's kind of exciting to think about the possibilities when you have a play caller like that. That's like unpredictable, imaginative, not afraid to do things. I mean, I watched the A&M game in 2021, and this guy, they're sitting there running it and throwing it all. Brooks had a great game. They're killing A&M. Now, A&M, Mike Elko was the D coordinator on that team for Jimbo Fisher, and he made some adjustments in the second half. And Arkansas, I think, won 20-10.
Right.
After beating them 17-0.
Yeah.
They drove it between the 20s and then kind of got back down. But first half, Arkansas was up 14-0. They're just running through them, throwing it down the field, all that. he runs a freaking lateral pass out of nowhere.
Yeah, why not?
Threw it to the receiver. Receiver chunks it down the field. It looked like a lot of fun. And so I like that. I think Carolina, we say they've recruited really well. You see the athletic metrics to back that up, that they have athletes, these guys. It's not like everybody says, well, this guy ran a 4.5 in high school or 4.4 in high school. Then they get to Carolina, it's like, no, psych, he's actually a 4.8.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's pushing 5.
You got bamboozled on that, sir. And it's not like that happened. And, and I think great athletes, when you had a bunch of guys like that, they need to, this kind of system is fun for them, and they could just go be athletes, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of it's not that you can just go out and play if you don't learn the playbook and all that. You still have to get out there and do it. But I think a lot of the sloppiness last year, I think, man, if you've ever been in a situation in life, and all of you have, where you're uncertain of how you are supposed to do something and you are thinking too much, your fundamentals escape you in anything.
Yeah.
In anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In anything. Like if I'm sitting there, I'm trying to use an example that's not X-rated, because that's a good example. You're thinking too much. But I don't know.
Right.
What's an example of something, Phil? Like golf. Golf is an example of it, to keep it in sports.
Anything, like you think about it, like they talk about, hitters at the plate in baseball, right? You're thinking too much, man. It's just like, see it and hit it.
In golf, you're not going to get it in the hole if you think too much.
That's right.
In golf,
you're gonna miss the hole.
But yeah. So yeah, TD Nelson says if Kendall would have gone to Florida or anywhere in North Carolina, they'd be salivating over him. I understand. Yeah, I know that. And I think too, sometimes when you're talking about surface level things, I mean, think about how the trumpets and hosannas that were expressed from on high in the college football ecosystem when Garrett Riley was hired at Clemson. Oh, Clemson's going to be back.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I thought probably going to be a lot better. Brandon Streeter ran circles around him as a coordinator. I mean, just to be honest, when you look at like Clemson's offense Brandon Streeter was better. Yeah, Chad Morris will probably be better. I don't know. I still have the old Alec Baldwin theory on Garrett Riley. I'm like, it's not. He's Billy Baldwin. He's not Alec.
He's not.
Or whoever one of the Baldwins is that is the most popular. But
he's damn.
You think about that. But well, it's because at TCU, they went on that. Well, it was. I think we found out Sonny Dykes had a lot to do with it, and then Kendall Browse gets there right after Riley leaves, and they're not as good because they can't run the ball and they don't have a dual threat quarterback. I mean, their personnel is different. Now they put up big numbers and they scored against, everybody that watched Bill Belichick fall flat on his face that Monday night last year. Guess who was dialing them up for TCU? It's Kendall Browse.
That was Kendall Browse.
And they beat the crap out of him. So, but so it's just one of those things. Recency bias, I guess, a little bit. But you go back and look, and I appreciate that Brooks went through and it went back to Arkansas for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. Ole Miss did not have a good defense that year in 2021, but I mean, look, I don't care if you play against a team that doesn't have a good defense, and you should score. What should you do? You should score 51 points.
Yeah, right.
What they do, they scored 51 points. All right, so that should tell you one of those things. Cam asked if Montague Rames ever got a chance to play college ball. It crossed my mind the other day. I had high hopes for that kid. Last I heard about him, it was about 2 years ago. He wasn't even playing football, just kind of decided to give it up.
Yeah, man.
So, Chaco asked, does Kendall Briles call plays from the sideline or press box? There's a debate, of course, on which one is more effective. Thanks, gentlemen. I think, I think it just depends on the play caller. I think some guys are better in the press box. I think some guys are better on the sidelines. And I think it's a lot of times what you're used to, number one, and how your brain's kind of structured. It's interesting to me because in practice, I don't know, maybe some offensive coordinators get up on the tower or whatever and call it from on high operationally, but in practice, you're on the field. So you have to have that
calls it from the sideline.
Oh, yeah. I meant to answer that. Yeah, Briles is a sideline guy.
Yeah.
So
and you'd think with the army of like managers and assistants and analysts that he's getting constant communication from the box, right? Like,
yeah, you've got guys up there. I call them eye in the sky. And what those guys do is they'll holler down, and like say you don't have a good level. What are they? Looks like they're in cover 4 or whatever. But then some guys get up there and call it from up top. Mike Bobo was good. He's a box guy.
Mm-hmm.
Really good play caller. Who else has been here that was in the box? Dowell was in the box. Shula called it from the sideline.
Yeah, I think he was a sideline.
A lot of your former quarterbacks will do it. Of course, Dowell Loggins was a former quarterback too. But a lot of your former quarterbacks like to call it from the sideline. Spurrier called it from the sideline. Mangus called it from the sideline. Kurt Roper, I have a Kurt Roper theory that he should have called it from the sideline.
Yeah, that he was on the wrong. Yeah.
Because in the first game against NC State in 2017, for some reason, the headsets at Bank of America weren't working. It's the most Gamecock thing ever.
Right.
And he's on the sideline, and Carolina, he was dialing them up. They went up and down the field that whole game. I mean, look great. He goes back up in the box second half and not so good, right? And they continued to struggle. So I don't know what the deal was there. But Roper was press box. BMAC was BMAC sideline when he took over Brian McClendon?
Gosh, I can't remember.
I know Bobo was press box, but was sideline some. Satterfield press box, Dowell press box, Shula sideline, Kendall sideline. So we'll see. So it doesn't. I don't know that some of your best play callers in college football dial them up from the side. Lane Kiffin dials them up from the sideline. Some of your best players in college football dial them up from up top. The two-headed monster for LSU in 19, Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger, it was very interesting. A lot of people gave Joe Brady a ton of credit for that. And I believe he had a huge impact. Let's not get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. But Ensminger the year before had a pretty good offense. It wasn't like he was just chopped liver. He took over for Matt Canada, who I thought was great at Pitt, but apparently the Pitt's players could learn his system a little bit better than LSU's. But again, too complex. Coach was, we got to get rid of all this motion and all this stuff. So the veteran Ensminger comes in. So Joe Brady would stand with a pair of binoculars beside him, and Ensminger had the play sheet, and he just fire suggestions at him, and it's kind of looked like a hype guy.
Right.
And the grizzled veteran would be checking off his play sheet and dialing them out downstairs. Man, that was the best offense in the history of college football. Man. Now they had great players. But that was great what they were doing. So it just kind of depends.
That's right. The Morris Day and Jerome of offensive play calling.
Yes, if you will. So TD says, I hope he's on the field so he can coach up Lenoris. Yeah. We'll see. Harrison said, I remember one time someone said the Carolina Clemson offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator battle at that time was going to be a battle of the hobbits with, oh my God.
Oh, yeah, right.
Powell and West Godwin. They're similar looking dudes.
They do look like there could be a distant connection there. I wouldn't wish that on Dowell.
Dowell owned him, though.
Yeah, right.
Like, that wasn't much of a game plan, right? But that was a smart game. See, less is more sometimes in college football. It's like, all right, Lenoris, just 1, 2, and go. Worked all day. The other guy couldn't figure it out. So, anyway. Gosh, that's me. Kreger asked if Jalua Solomon's repping at corner or nickel. He's at corner. The nickels are, not that he couldn't play nickel because he's been there for a while. The nickels are Quayshede Scott, Gerald Kilgore, and Jaquel Hallman, and maybe Zabari Sandy if he's healthy. But we'll see what happens. Xavier Leggett got carted off the field at Panthers practice. That's another freaking Panthers injury, folks.
Jeez.
He seems to be okay though.
That's good.
So we sort of wish him the best. And a couple of years ago, Gamecock won the Bronco Nagurski Award, and Dylan Stewart has been named as a member of the watch list for the Bronco Nagurski Award. Sound good?
Good candidate. I'll take that.
Me too. Me too. I'll take it. I'll also take a big old plate of D's Wings on Wednesday night. 18 wings, pitcher beer, $29. Get out there and check it out. Also, want to thank GamecockTraditions.com or Gamecock Traditions and GamecockTraditions.com for their partnership here on Inside the Gamecocks. The Nike year's here. The season's right around the corner. We're 31. We're 31 days.
Yeah, 31.
No, 32. 32 days. That's the kickoff number on the Big Spur. But yeah, so 1 month and 1 day. Let's just put it that way.
That's right.
September 5th. It's like August 4th. Yeah, so we'll be back. Kreger said he always thinks this is Temple of the Dog. Yes, because of the riff at the beginning. I want to go, I don't mind stealing bread. All right. We'll be back after this on the show.
Gamecock Traditions is your Nike superstore and your home for anything and everything with a South Carolina logo. Visit us in the Midlands and order online at GamecockTraditions.com. Go Gamecocks!
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Gary Patterson for your personal price plan today.
Walk me through the toughest case or situation we've had to handle without names or locations. Just what was the toughest situation?
The hardest one was there was an individual that defended themselves in their home and they're still criminally charged. And there was evidence that they were, being sought after for something that they weren't technically involved in. And they're being charged criminally because they defended themselves inside of their own home for doing what was right and what we believe at Right to Bear to be a human right.
TheBigSpur.com, now part of On3. Join for just $1 today.
When you buy and sell your sports and fitness gear at Play It Again Sports, you support a local business. We pay our customers for their quality used sports and fitness gear and resell it, recycling it back into your community. Support local, score savings.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture presents our coverage of South Carolina football. Visit palmcasual.com today. Make your outdoor space the best it can be. Go Gamecocks.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Gary Patterson for your personal price plan today.
A really common fear in a workman's compensation case is what's going to happen to my job if I report this injury? And my answer to that is you still need to report your injury. I'm dealing directly with the insurance company, and the insurance company is going to treat you like a file number. So let me make sure that doesn't happen to you. Let me get involved in your workman's compensation case.
Coffee, weekday mornings with JC Sherbert. Watch or listen on the Chief Sports app, the Chief Sports YouTube page, and available on Apple and Spotify.
back, everybody, inside the Gamecocks, the show. Final segment of the show here on a Terrible Tuesday episode. JC and Mad Dog in with you. If you have not already, you need to go check out thebigspur.com. JC has a nice breakdown of the depth for South Carolina football. You can join right now for half price off an annual subscription. So go on over there, half price annual subscription. You get thebigspur.com. You get Gamecock Central. You get all of On 3. And yeah, you get Rivals too, if I remember right.
Yeah, Rivals is
Rivals. You get it all, man. I that's a heck of a deal. And you get the Athletic.
Well, that's full price. You got to go full.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, not if you take the deal. You know what?
If you go full price annual, you want to get on board and just commit, pay full price. You get the Athletic.
The Athletic will cut you a deal.
And those of you that renewed at full price that joined for the $1, you get the Athletic now.
You now get the Athletic, right? Yeah.
So check that out. I think Brian has some details on that on the Insiders Forum. Pete Nakos has an article out on 3. Speaking of which, former Gamecock defensive back Chris Hampton came out of Memphis, played for Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier. Oregon's D coordinator is on a list of potential future head coaches that are currently coordinators. So that's interesting. Also, Spartanburg native Sheil Wood, Texas Tech's defensive coordinator, formerly of Wofford, is on the list. I don't see Clayton White is on the list. Here we go. 2-time Broyles nominee. And then the last line is he's a former NC State linebacker. Oh, sly.
Yeah.
Sly.
See what you did there.
Very sly. Arkansas. Why didn't Arkansas hire Barry Lunny Jr.'s on this list? Arkansas should just hired him.
Right.
I don't know about Ryan Silverfield. Watch Ryan Silverfield be like an amazing coach at Arkansas. Like watch that happen.
Perfect fit. Turns it around.
Yeah. There in Atlanta. And I'm like, oh man, because I don't hate the hire. I like Ryan Silverfield. I think he's a good coach. Do I think he, everybody accuses Tanner sometimes of making, they call it it's a lazy hire. I've heard that description thrown out from fan bases all over the place about lots of hires. Lazy hire. Lazy. That to me, because Memphis is right there, and Arkansas took an L to them. That to me is a little bit of one. I just think there would have been a more, I don't know. If you'd have maybe looked like
a lazy hire doesn't have to, it's not exclusive to raising somebody up from within a program, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, well, this is the no-brainer. This is the lazy hire. And sometimes that's the best guy for the job. But, you didn't have to work that hard to do it.
TD asked, he pays monthly full price. Do I get the Athletic? I think it's just for annuals. It's not my decision. So don't get mad at me. I don't set any of those policies.
I don't know.
That special $1 and then half off for the year expires tonight. But I'll let you know a little secret. We have another special tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, probably.
So join tonight or tomorrow. You get a lot of value. Okay, so there's that piece from Pete Nakos. Clayton White's on it. Spartanburg native Sheil Wood's on it. You've got Chris Hampton, a former Gamecock, on it. Lots of that good stuff going. Andy Stables has his 12-team playoff bracket projection up on 3 as well. He's got Navy in as the 12 seed. Notre Dame 1, Texas 2, Oregon 3, Miami 4, Texas Tech 5, Georgia 6, Ohio State 7, Oklahoma 8, LSU 9, Michigan 10, Indiana 11. So only one from the ACC and then Navy. So, hey, check this out, though, Phil. I think let's say Andy's bracket's right, which I would be happy for him because nobody's bracket's going to be right, but Andy's a good dude. So if Texas Tech, like Navy of all the teams, you just don't want Navy, man.
No.
You don't want Navy. Navy and Army lose guys to the transfer portal, but they really don't, right? They're not gutted like like a Tulane would be. You know, their kids aren't 1 foot out the door. They run a ridiculously hard offense to stop. You know, Texas Tech, they probably will have not seen anything like Navy brings to the Lubbock for that game.
Right.
And it's a playoff. And that would scare if it was South Carolina and Navy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Peter.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Remember in 2011 when Navy came, or was it 2011 or 2012 that Carolina played Navy?
Oh.
I'm trying to think. It was it? Let me look. I think it's 2011. You know. Anyway, look that up, Phil.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yes, but anyway, Marcus Lattimore had to save the Gamecocks that day. They won 24-21 against Navy. But no, I wouldn't want to play them. I mean, Navy, of course, lives in the Gamecock lore for the 1984 thing. But it's a different challenge, you know. And in a playoff situation, I would be like, no. Other matchups, Indiana at Georgia, I think they'd go down in Athens pretty hard. He's got Ohio State, Michigan rematch in Columbus. Oklahoma, LSU is the 8-9. And then Oregon.
2011.
It was 11.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was interesting because, you know, South Carolina's 2011 defense did not get off to the best start. They got 37 to East Carolina and 42 to Georgia. And there was a lot of concern going into that Navy game. And I'm convinced that trying to stop the option all week and that got that defense going a little bit. You know, it ended up being one of the best defenses in program history, but it did take a little while to do that. But yeah, so there's that. With that, and the coaches poll is out.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, so here we go. Phil, tell me if you agree, disagree, don't have an opinion. Let's start at 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more fun this way.
I disagree with 25 right out the gate. They have Missouri ranked at 25.
Oh, the coaches do?
Yeah.
Did they realize Missouri lost all 11 starters?
I don't think so. They must not.
Probably not. You know who votes in these? It's like either the SID or the ops guy.
Yeah.
South Carolina's 30th in the coaches poll.
Mm-hmm.
So could they creep in? Like Matt Anderson had a really good piece about how is South Carolina, Alabama will it be a ranked matchup, for the Gamecocks to get to 3-0? I don't think he thought Carolina would be at like 30th with also receiving votes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go from 30 and work my way back. Carolina 30th. The aforementioned Illinois Fighting Illini 29th. TCU 28th. The Gators 27th. Louisville, Phil's sleeper.
My sleeper.
26th. Missouri 25th. I don't know. I mean, it'll make you look smart the first few weeks. I mean, as long as they don't get beat against Kansas.
Yeah.
Houston's 24th, man. I think a lot of people in the Big 12 think Houston's going to win it. Houston, Texas Tech played early this year. Clemson, 23rd. I don't have much comment on that. Iowa, 22nd.
I mean, perpetually, 20 to 25, the Iowa Hawkeyes. It makes sense to me.
That's where they roll. That's where they hang out.
That's right.
That's where they hang out, Phil. Utah's 21st. SMU's 20th. SMU is my O'Doyle team this year. So, it's from Billy Madison. You remember O'Doyle rules? And Adam Sandler looks at him and goes, "O'Doyle, I have a feeling your whole family's about to go down." And then they're rolling in the station wagon. I think Chris Farley, the bus driver, threw a banana peel out the window.
Yeah, they ended up driving off a cliff, right?
The O'Doyle station wagon hits the banana peel, slips and spins out and goes across like Slash in that Don't Cry video.
That's right.
When the car goes over the cliff. So teams that get overhyped that are like, oh, they're right. I was like, that's my O'Doyle team. I think SMU is the O'Doyle team this year because they were good, made the playoff, and then they're kind of okay. Kevin Jennings is a really good player. Don't get me wrong. And they got talent, and they're in the ACC. But you ever notice teams that go into the ACC, with the exception of Miami, who got worse?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Immediately got worse. But Virginia Tech came in the ACC, started dominating. Boston College. When Syracuse and Pitt joined, they were kind of a handful. Pitt's actually won the ACC a couple of times. And Louisville came in and was instantly competitive. SMU comes in and finishes second immediately, right away. Right. Stanford and Cal, different kind of challenge. But, but then over time, all those teams started sinking into the median.
Right. Yeah.
They
Just
started
fall
sucking.
back. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's like
Regress
fall
to
back.
the mean.
They regressed. Miami still only been to the ACC championship game once since 2005 and got smoked by, of all the really good playoff Clemson, really, really good Clemson teams, the worst one.
Not a
good Kelly Bryant team.
That's right.
And so they're my O'Doyle team, and they're number 20.
Their last two games are at Notre Dame and at Stanford. Like,
I don't know, Peter. That Notre Dame game is going to be big for them if they are winning. I mean, it's big for SMU to go up there.
their away schedule is what should kind of hamper expectations. They open at Florida State. And then week 3 at Louisville.
Ooh.
Then they've got a home stretch there, and then they go to Syracuse on Halloween. And then it is home against Virginia Tech, home against Wake Forest, and then at Notre Dame, at Stanford. So Stanford, Notre Dame, Syracuse, Louisville, and Florida State are your away schedule for SMU this year.
Pretty solid.
Yeah,
Washington 19th, Tennessee 18th. So I guess the coaches decided Tennessee is going to be good.
That's right.
Opinions are so mixed about the Vols, man. I mean, half the people think they could contend for the playoff. Half of them think that they're bottom third of the league. I tend to think, I think their quarterback situation will be okay. I think George McIntyre and Faison Brandon, they're different players than Nico, because you look at Nico and he really, even after like a red shirt, he really wasn't, he wasn't a true freshman when he started, but he wasn't ready. He wasn't that good. They had to run the ball. But they've got a really good offensive line. I think I like Deshaun Bishop. He's the best back in the league. Nobody's really talking about. They've got good receivers, obviously. And then their defense has some pieces. I think they think Knowles is going to solve a lot of the problems back there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what becomes of Tennessee. Penn State 17th. I guess all those Iowa State kids Matt Campbell brought can play ball, but we talked about Penn State's schedule yesterday being bad. Michigan 16th, BYU 14th, Southern Cal, BYU 15th, Southern Cal 14th. I don't know about that. LSU 13th. I don't know about that. Texas Tech 12th. I'm probably a little salty with Texas Tech. Alabama 11th. So
I would say you disagree with Alabama at 11.
I think 11 is a good place for them to start out of kind of respect and the good players on their team. And their first 4 games are, everybody's going to look at it and go, oh, they should beat East Carolina. They should win at Kentucky. They should beat Florida State. They should beat South Carolina. But it's not like they're playing Indiana's schedule the first 4 games.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's some potential pitfalls in there.
And even at 11, JC, that puts them 6th in the SEC.
I know, because Ole Miss is 10th. Oklahoma's 9th. I guess the coaches disagreed with the SEC media that picked Oklahoma 7th in the league. A&M 8th. So the Carolina so far has got the 9th and 8th ranked teams. Miami 7. That's interesting. And they've got a 7th-year linebacker, Mohamed Toure, starting at linebacker. Wow. Indiana 6th. I don't know, man. They're talking about Turbo Richard from Northwestern being a big-time portal pickup.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not buying Indiana until proven otherwise.
I like Carter Smith, their tackle, and Charlie Becker, their receiver. You know, I think they're going to be good, and they're going to get off to a great start. So you never know. Notre Dame 5th, surprising. They got a lot of good players, man. I don't know. Texas 4th, took them. Georgia 3rd. Interesting. The Ducks 2. That's Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of people back in Oregon this year. A lot of people.
They're going to break. I'll tell you what, I do believe Dan Lanning will win a national championship at some point in Oregon.
That's not a crazy statement at all.
But I want to tell you guys something. You know, we talk about, like I've talked a lot about the blue chip ratio yesterday. Part of the other reason I'm not like super high on it is national championships are hard.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like Oregon has had just a tremendous run. They played for it twice. That team that played Ohio's the team that played Auburn, I think Oregon did a good job just hanging in there and holding Auburn to 22, and they lost by a field goal. That team that played Ohio State was supposed to win it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was supposed to be the best team. Ohio State just kicked their butt. But it's hard.
Oregon's got a fairly favorable schedule. I see.
Yeah. And it's crazy though, dude. Like as good as Oregon's been, you have to wonder a little bit about. So we talk a lot of, and this is just reckless speculation.
That's right.
But I always say that in the Orange Bowl, like one team full of millionaires beat the other one, and Oregon shut Texas Tech down. And then the millionaire team in the next round just got destroyed. You have to kind of wonder a little bit because Oregon, we talk about overpaying. They definitely pay a ton.
Yeah, right.
And they have to go around the country and get enough players. So twice now they've had great regular seasons. They've only lost 3 games ever. I mean, I'm sorry, only 3 games in those seasons. They lost to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. They lost to Indiana twice, once regular season at home, once in Atlanta. You have to wonder though. It's like when they've gotten in the playoff, Phil, they've not just lost, they have lost. Like and twice against teams they had previously played. Like they beat Ohio State the first time in Eugene by I think a point. And remember Ryan Day mismanaged the clock.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Indiana in Eugene. That was when we started taking a lot of people started taking Indiana pretty serious. Because it was like, wait a minute, they just went out to Oregon and won
out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something else. And then the next time, instead of exacting revenge like Ohio State did to them, they just rolled over. Dante Moore was awful. I mean, Bear Alexander is still in college and on that team. I got to kind of wonder until they sustain it through the playoffs. That's going to be in the back of my mind. And number one's Ohio State. They got a running back named Bo Jackson. I think that's interesting.
Oh, name recognition alone puts you one there.
Jeremiah Smith, Bo Jackson, Julian Sand. Yeah. They took Alabama's good linebacker on defense. So that's your coaches poll. Big Ten, SEC, Independent, Big Ten, ACC, SEC. So who's the best conference? I don't know.
Who's the best conference? I don't know.
All right. So what did Kreger have about Mike Tyler? He said it. Oh, okay. Boy, I'd love to have Michael Smith in this Browns offense. Yeah, he was almost there. But I mean, he was almost coming back. It was a done deal. And then he was kind of on campus, and guess what happened?
You get a phone call, and
I think in a preview, Pete Golding, before he's a football coach, was an extra in Forrest Gump. I say, you have any thought to your future, son? Remember? Before he joined the Army.
Yes, that is great.
Have you ever given any thought to your future? He's on campus recruiting.
Your future. Yeah.
I mean,
wow. Do you think Ole Miss is going to live up to this hype?
I don't know. Sometimes when you have a formula that really, really works, like So the formula at Ole Miss has worked for a couple of coaches.
Yeah.
It worked on steroids for Lane Kiffin because we have the portal. And so, but I mean, like, look, even Matt Luke recruited pretty well there. They have a good plan to get players. Hugh Freeze, obviously, Cutcliffe, when he won there, and at the time he was winning more than most. He wasn't really a big old recruiter, but he would find guys. He's kind of more of a find guys guy, coach him up. But Kiffin's done better than anybody since Johnny Vault has coached there.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have a guy that's really good at it, at a certain place, and he leaves, and then the next guy kind of puts his flavoring in it, it's kind of like New Coke.
Right. Yeah. It's like
New
it's
Coke.
not the real thing, right? Yeah.
It's a little different, and you worry about that. Now, I've also seen it, though, when a place rallies around football and commits, and you have some continuity with coaching changes.
Right.
I've seen, like we mentioned Oregon earlier. Well, Chip Kelly didn't build Oregon. Rich Brooks built Oregon, got him to a Rose Bowl in '94. Then I think went to the Falcons or something. And then Mike Bellotti got him a step further, consistently winning. And then he hires Chip Kelly as his OC. And Chip Kelly takes over. And then, and so they kind of passed it down, but then they just kept on rolling. Right.
Right.
And got the foundation built. So sometimes that happens too. So I don't want to say no. I do think they've got a lot of good players. I think Trinidad Chambliss is good. They hired a play caller that's really outstanding, and John David Baker. So I don't know. Kreger said Mike Tyler may surprise some people at tight end right now. Yeah, he's said to be the number 2 behind Brady right now. It's got to be more consistent, like a lot of young players. But there's no mistake about it. Mike Tyler's got some talent. He's going to do some things while he's here. And he had a really good spring. So we'll see what happens. Ghost Flame. Missouri at 25. 185. Oh, look. Yeah. I'd rather Carolina not be ranked, but I like them at 30th because that means if they win the first 3, they could very easily, because some of these teams, man, they're not going to last very long.
Some of these teams are going to be off the radar in 2 weeks. So we'll see.
Tip on a Blimp asked if the freshman defensive end will play. Julian Walker, he could start. So,
right.
Yes.
So
yes, Pimp. He's going to be really good. If you almost don't want to talk good about him too much because, by the way, Kreger, number 44, go watch that Brooks Austin film breakdown, and you probably won't ask for Maurice Brown on the field as much as we all have. And that's no offense to him, but it made sense what Sean Elliott used to say about he's going too fast. Like, it doesn't always do what he's supposed to do. On one of those plays that Lenore's threw it a little high, and he runs under the ball and tips it up in the air like he's on special teams. And the guy's like, don't ever do that. Because somebody could have caught. I mean, he literally, he's like Terry Tate, office linebacker. Out there. And there was another play where he did the same thing. So what Coach Elliott said, and that's the things we don't see. So, but yeah, Julian Walker, I think we almost kind of hate to talk about him because everybody was kind of blessed with Dylan Stewart as a freshman 2 years ago. Like, surely something like that doesn't happen, but every once in a while.
That's right. It won't happen again.
And I'm not saying he's going to be he's a different type of defensive end than Dylan, but I think he can be quite good, and I think he's physically ready to get in there and play. So, but yeah, I hated to see that on Mo Brown. I was about Maurice Brown, man. I mean, everybody loves that guy, but I was like, I see what Sean Elliott was saying. Slow down, man. Don't run out of nowhere and just boom, knock the ball in the air like you're playing rugby. And I mean, it's a hustle play, and you'll take that over some of the other exposed players on film.
Right. Yeah.
You'll take that over everything. But man, I just I think Krager asked me, Krager said I said I felt like they asked me who to compare Walker to. Speaking of Oregon, like Kayvon Thibodeau would be the guy. And everybody's going to go nuts. They're going to be like, oh, he's #1 player in the country. Yeah, but Julian was 15th.
Right. I mean,
And
that's
here's
not...
a secret. There's not that much difference between 1 and 15. Because some networks will have somebody 1 and the other will have 15. That looks like there's between the #1 and number 15 team in the country, there's a big difference.
Right. There's
a
a
player.
Nah.
So, but he's that kind of defense, that type of defensive end. Pimp says, could he take the pressure off Stewart? Yeah, him and Caleb Herring are going to have to do that this year. That's the key to the season for me because, like I was saying on coffee this morning, Brian Thomas was a good player, proved he could play in the SEC, make plays in the SEC, all that. Was he a difference maker? I couldn't say that. Couldn't say he's a difference maker.
Right.
So they need a difference maker over there. I don't know if Walker in year 1 or Herring or Anthony Addison or any of them will be, but those are your candidates. So it would be very helpful to have a difference maker.
It'd be nice if 2 of them were more than just serviceable.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. For the Mad Dogs, JC, I'll at you soon.